Chapter 1. The moment your mind takes over. The night was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every thought sound louder than it should. The room was dim, only a soft glow from the street light slipping through the curtains. And there you were, lying on your back, staring at the ceiling, watching the same thought loop replay over and over again. You tried to shift, adjust the pillow, breathe deeper, turn on your side. Nothing worked. Your mind was awake, alive, and running miles ahead of you. This was always how it began.
You don't lack intelligence.
Not with
you don't
drama,
even lack
but
discipline
with a
as
tiny
much as you
thought
think.
that didn't
What
know
you
how to
lack
stay
is a
tiny.
system, a
Maybe
way
it
to
was something
create
someone
energy
said
and
earlier.
momentum that
Maybe it
carries
was
you
something you
forward
didn't
even
do.
on the days
Maybe
you
it
don't
was the
feel
fear of
like it.
tomorrow.
This book
Maybe
is
it was
that
everything
system.
and nothing all
We
at
live in
once.
a world where
Your
it's
mind
easier
didn't
than
care.
ever to be
It
lazy.
just grabbed the thought and
Entertainment
ran.
is endless.
And tonight you felt it
Distractions are
again.
everywhere.
That heavy
Every
gnawing
company
drag
on the
of
planet is
overthinking.
fighting for
The
your
silent
attention
force that
and
steals
winning.
hours,
So if
energy,
you've been
peace, and
feeling
sometimes
guilty for
even
not
joy,
stop
you
being
wanted
lazy.
to stop it.
The
You always
Energy and
wanted to
Action
stop
Plan.
it. But
Written
wanting
and
didn't
published
help,
by
and wishing
Imperium
didn't quiet
Audiobooks.
anything.
You already
Your heart
know
wasn't
what it feels
racing.
like to live
Your
below
body
your
wasn't
potential.
trembling.
You
It
wake
wasn't
up every
panic,
day with
it
good
was something
intentions.
worse.
Maybe
The
even
slow,
a to-do
invisible
list.
chokehold
Maybe
of mental
even big
noise.
dreams.
You knew
and
this
then
pattern
watch
too
hours
well.
slip away
A
as
thought
you
appears.
procrastinate.
You examine
Distract
it.
yourself.
Then you
and tell
analyze it.
yourself,
Then
I'll
you
start
analyze
tomorrow.
why you analyzed
and when
it.
tomorrow comes,
Then you
the
criticize
cycle
yourself
repeats.
for analyzing
The truth is,
Then you
don't
worry
lack
that you're
ambition.
worrying too much.
You don't lack
And
intelligence.
suddenly you're exhausted,
you don't
but
even
not in a
lack
way sleep
discipline
can
as much
fix.
as you think.
Tonight,
what you
something
lack
felt
is a
different.
system,
Not
a way
louder,
to create
just
energy
heavier.
and momentum
Like your
that
mind was
carries
trying
you
to tell
forward
you something,
even on the days
or
you
maybe
don't
it was
feel
trying
like
to protect you
it.
from
This
something.
book is that system.
Overthinking always
we live
came
in a
pretending
world
to
where
help,
it's easier than
pretending
ever to be
to warn
lazy.
you, guide you, save you
Entertainment
from
is
mistakes.
endless.
But deep
Distractions
inside,
are everywhere.
you were beginning
Every
to realize
company on the
something.
planet is
Your
fighting
mind
for
wasn't
your
protecting
attention
you.
and
It
winning.
was imprisoning
So
you.
if you've been
You
feeling
sighed and
guilty
sat
for not
up.
stop
The room
being
felt
lazy.
colder when you left
the
the warmth
Energy
of the
and Action
blankets.
Plan.
You rubbed your
Written and
hands
published
together,
by
walked to the
Imperium
small mirror
Audiobooks.
by the closet,
You
and
already
looked at
know
your
what it
reflection.
feels like to live
Your eyes
below
didn't
your
look
potential.
tired. They looked
You wake
full.
up every day
Full
with
of
good
thoughts,
intentions,
arguments,
maybe
scenarios,
even a to-do list,
fears, questions,
maybe even
predictions,
big dreams,
memories,
and then
possibilities,
watch hours
all
slip
pressed
away
tight
as you
inside your head
procrastinate.
like a crowded
Distract
room with
yourself
no air.
and tell
And then
yourself,
it hit you,
I'll
a
start
moment
tomorrow.
of clarity
and
just
when
sharp
tomorrow
enough to
comes,
sting.
the cycle repeats.
Why do I do this to
the
myself?
truth is, you don't
whispered.
lack ambition.
There wasn't an
you
answer.
don't lack intelligence.
Not yet.
You don't
But that
even lack
question,
discipline as
soft,
much as you
defeated,
think. What you
honest,
lack is a
was the
system,
moment everything
a way
began
to
to
create
shift.
energy and
Because
momentum
overthinking
that
never
carries you
disappears
forward
with
even
force.
on the days you
It
don't
dissolves
feel
with
like
understanding.
it. This book is
And
that
tonight,
system.
without knowing it,
we live
you
in a
took your
world
first
where
step
it's
toward
easier than ever to
understanding.
be lazy.
You moved back to the
Entertainment
bed,
is
but not
endless.
to lie down.
Distractions
You
are
sat
everywhere.
at the edge,
Every
elbows on your
company on the
knees,
planet
staring
is
at the
fighting
floor.
for your attention
Something inside
and
you
winning.
finally admitted
So if
what
you've
you
been
avoided
feeling
for
guilty
years.
for not
You weren't
stop
just
being
tired
lazy.
of overthinking.
The Energy
You were
and
tired
Action
of living
Plan.
in your head instead of
Written
your
and
life.
published by
Tired
Imperium
of replaying
Audiobooks.
conversations
You
instead
already
of
know
being
what
present.
it feels like to
Tired
live
of
below
predicting
your
the
potential.
worst instead of
You wake up
experiencing
every
the
day
moment.
with good intentions.
Tired of drowning
maybe
in
even
questions
a to-do
without
list.
finding any
maybe
real
even
answers.
big dreams.
Tired of
and
feeling
then watch
mentally
hours
busy but
slip away
emotionally
as you
stuck.
procrastinate.
You didn't want to
Distract
think less.
yourself
You wanted to feel
and tell
free.
yourself,
You
I'll
wanted
start
silence.
tomorrow.
You
and
wanted
when
peace.
tomorrow comes,
You
the
wanted
cycle
control.
repeats.
And as the
truth
quiet
is,
of the room
you don't
settled
lack
around
ambition.
you realized
don't lack
something
intelligence.
profound.
You don't even
Overthinking
lack
wasn't who you
discipline as
were.
much as you
It
think.
was simply what your
you
mind
lack
learned
is
to
a
do.
system,
And
a way to
anything learned
create
can be
energy and
unlearned.
momentum
A
that
slow
carries
breath
you
escaped your
forward
chest.
even on the days
Not
you don't
relief,
feel like it.
but resolve.
This book is
This
that
was the
system.
beginning.
We
The
live
moment
in a
you
world
finally
where
decided,
it's easier than ever
not
to be
loudly,
lazy.
not dramatically, but
Entertainment is
quietly and
endless.
deeply, that
Distractions
you were
are
done letting
everywhere.
your mind run
Every
the show.
company on the planet
Tonight,
is
for the
fighting
first
for
time,
your
you weren't
attention
fighting your
and
thoughts.
winning.
You
So
were
if you've been
observing
feeling
them.
guilty for
And
not
that simple
stop
shift would
being
become
lazy.
the key to everything
the
that
Energy
followed.
and Action
You
Plan.
didn't know it yet,
Written
but
and
you had just
published by
stepped into a
Imperium
new chapter of your
Audiobooks.
life.
You already
A chapter
know what
where
it feels
peace isn't
like to live
accidental,
below your
it's
potential.
built.
You
Where
wake up
clarity
every
isn't
day with good
occasional,
intentions,
it's natural.
maybe even a
Where
to-do
thinking
list,
becomes your
maybe
tool,
even
not your
big
tormentor.
dreams, and then
Tonight
watch
was the
hours
moment your
slip
mind
away
took
as you
over for the last
procrastinate.
time.
Distract
Tomorrow,
yourself
you begin
and tell
taking it
yourself,
back.
I'll start
Chapter
tomorrow.
2,
And
when a
when
thought
tomorrow
turns
comes,
into a
the
storm.
cycle repeats. repeats.
Morning came
The truth
quietly.
is, you don't
It wasn't
lack
dramatic,
ambition.
no
You
grand
don't lack
sunrise, no
intelligence.
cinematic
You
music.
don't even lack
Just
discipline
light,
as much as you
soft,
think.
pale,
What
and
you lack
slowly
is a
filling the
system,
room like water
a way to
rising in a
create
glass.
energy and momentum
You blinked
that
against it,
carries you
heavy with
forward
the memory
even
of
on the
last
days
night.
you don't feel
You
like
had slept
it.
eventually,
This book is that system.
not deeply.
We live in
Not
a world
peacefully,
where it's easier
but
than
enough.
ever to be lazy.
You sat up, feet
Entertainment
touching the
is
cool
endless.
floor, the silence of the
Distractions are
world moving
everywhere.
around you.
Every company
For a
on
moment,
the planet
your mind
is fighting
felt still.
for your attention
For a moment,
and winning.
you believed maybe
So
today
if you've
would
been
be
feeling
different.
guilty for not
But overthinking
stop
doesn't
being
leave
lazy.
without one last
The Energy
swing.
and Action
It started
Plan.
with something
Written
small,
and published
almost
by Imperium
invisible.
Audiobooks.
A message you hadn't
already
replied
know
to.
what it feels
A task
like
you
to live
forgot to
below your
finish.
potential.
A tone
You
in
wake
someone's
up every
voice
day with
yesterday
good
that you still
intentions.
weren't sure how
Maybe
to interpret.
even a to-do list.
Not a problem.
Maybe even big
Not
dreams.
a crisis.
And then
Just a
watch
spark.
hours slip away
And like
as you
dry grass in a
procrastinate.
summer wind,
Distract
the spark
yourself
spread.
and tell yourself,
What if they're upset?
I'll start
What
tomorrow.
if I made a mistake?
And when tomorrow
What
comes,
if I looked
the cycle
stupid?
repeats.
What if they
The truth
misunderstood
is,
me?
you don't
What
lack
if-
ambition.
what if-
You don't lack
The mind loves
intelligence.
that phrase.
You don't
It
even lack
feeds on it.
discipline as
It
much as you
builds
think.
worlds out of it.
What you lack
Worlds
is a
made
system,
of
a way
possibilities
to
that aren't
create
real but
energy
feel
and
more
momentum
real than anything
that carries
happening
you
right in
forward
front of you.
even on the days
Within
you don't
minutes,
feel
your
like
thoughts
it.
started to
This
accelerate.
book is that system.
Threads tangled.
We live in a world
Scenarios
where it's easier
multiplied.
than ever to be lazy.
You weren't responding to
Entertainment
reality,
is endless.
you were responding to
Distractions
fear.
are everywhere.
You moved through
Every
your morning
company
like
on
a
the
ghost.
planet is fighting
Breakfast
for your
tasted
attention
dull.
and winning.
Your phone felt
So
heavy
if
in your
you've been
hand.
feeling guilty
Even
for
the
not
simplest tasks
stop
felt
being
like
lazy.
walking through fog.
The Energy and
Because you
Action
weren't
Plan.
here. You were
Written
everywhere
and
else
published
at
by
once.
Imperium
Inside your
Audiobooks.
head,
You already
thousands
know
of
what it
imaginary
feels
conversations
like to live
were
below your
happening.
potential.
In some, you
wake up
defended
every
yourself.
day with good
In
intentions.
others, you apologized.
Maybe even a to-do
In
list.
others, still,
Maybe
you
even
argued,
big
you
dreams.
justified, you
and then
rewrote
watch
moments you
hours
could never
slip
get
away
back.
as you
And
procrastinate.
then, without
Distract
meaning to,
yourself
you found yourself
and tell
pacing.
yourself,
It
I'll
always
start
came to
tomorrow.
pacing, didn't
and
it?
when tomorrow
Back
comes,
and forth,
the cycle repeats.
across the room.
The truth
Trying
is,
to outrun
you
a
don't
thought
lack
without
ambition.
physically going
you don't
anywhere.
lack intelligence.
Every
you
overthinker
don't even
knows
lack
this dance.
discipline as much as
The
you
thought
think.
appears.
What you
The
lack
mind
is a
grabs it,
system, a
and
way to
suddenly there's
create
no room
energy and
left to
momentum
breathe.
that carries you
paused by the
forward
window,
even on the
hands
days you
resting on
don't
the
feel
cool
like
glass.
it. This book
Outside,
is that
the world
system.
moved simply.
We live in a
Cars
world
passed,
where it's
birds
easier than
crossed
ever
the
to be
sky,
lazy.
people walked with coffee
Entertainment
cups and
is endless.
conversations. They
Distractions
looked
are
effortless.
everywhere.
You
Every
wondered what
company
it
on the
felt like
planet
to
is
live with a
fighting
quiet
for your
mind.
attention
To wake
and
up
winning.
and just be.
So if you've
To
been
move
feeling
through life
guilty for
without
not
every moment
stop
needing
being
to be
lazy.
examined,
The
dissected,
Energy and Action
replayed.
Plan.
You closed your
Written
eyes,
and published
exhaled
by
slowly,
Imperium
and for a moment you
Audiobooks.
remembered last
You already
night,
know
that
what it
brief
feels
clarity.
like to live below
That
your
moment
potential.
when you saw your mind
you
like
wake up
something
every day
separate
with
from
good
you,
intentions.
something you could
Maybe
observe
even
instead
a
of
to-do
obey.
list. Maybe
You wanted
even
that
big
feeling
dreams.
back.
And then
Not the
watch
silence
hours
of
slip
ignorance,
away as
but
you
the peace of
procrastinate.
understanding.
Distract
So you
yourself
tried something
and
new.
tell yourself,
Instead of
I'll
drowning
start
in the
tomorrow.
thought, you watched
and when
it.
tomorrow comes,
didn't
the
run from
cycle
it.
repeats.
You didn't
The
chase
truth
it.
is,
You just
don't
noticed
lack
it like a
ambition.
bird passing
you
your
don't lack
window.
intelligence.
And once you saw
don't
it
even
clearly,
lack
you
discipline
spoke,
as much
not
as you
out
think.
loud, not
What
dramatically,
you lack
but
is a
gently.
system, a way
This is
to
only a
create
thought.
energy and
The
momentum
storm didn't
that carries
vanish.
you forward
Storms
even
don't
on the days
disappear
you
with a
don't
whisper,
feel like it.
but something
This
inside
book
you
is that
softened.
system.
The panic
we live in a
loosened.
world where it's
The noise
easier than
paused
ever to
just
be
enough
lazy.
for you to breathe.
Entertainment
You
is
realize
endless.
something powerful.
Distractions are
Your
everywhere.
thoughts feel like
Every
reality
company
because you
on the
believe
planet
them.
is fighting
You
for
feed
your
them.
attention
You follow
and
them.
winning.
You
So
let
if
them
you've
lead
been
you into
feeling
stories
guilty
that
for
never
not
existed.
stop being lazy.
But a thought is just a
The
spark.
Energy and Action
It only
Plan.
becomes a
Written
wildfire
and
when your
published by
attention becomes
Imperium
oxygen.
Audiobooks.
You sat
You
down
already
slower
know what
this
it
time,
feels like to
breathing
live below
deeper,
your potential.
grounding
You
yourself
wake
in the
up
moment.
every day with good
You notice
intentions.
the chair beneath you,
Maybe even a
the
to-do
rise and
list.
fall of your
maybe
chest,
even big
the
dreams.
light warming the
and then
room,
watch hours
the quiet
slip
hum
away
of
as you
morning life.
procrastinate.
And piece by
Distract
piece, the
yourself
storm
and
weakened,
tell yourself,
not because you
I'll
fought
start
it, but
tomorrow.
because you stopped
and when
fueling
tomorrow
it.
comes,
This
the
was your
cycle
first
repeats.
lesson.
The
When a
truth
thought
is,
arrives,
you don't lack
have to
ambition.
follow it.
You don't
You can
lack
watch it.
intelligence.
You can let
You
it
don't
pass.
even lack
You
discipline
aren't a
as much
prisoner.
as you think.
You aren't
What you
helpless.
lack is a
You
system,
aren't broken.
a way to
You are
create
simply
energy and
someone
momentum
learning how to step
that
out of the
carries you
storm.
forward even
The
on the
chaos
days
in
you
your
don't
mind
feel
wasn't
like
proof
it.
that something
This
was
book
wrong
is
with
that
you.
system.
It was proof that
We
you
live
were
in a
human.
world where it's
But
easier
now,
than
for
ever
the
to be
first time,
lazy.
you were learning how to
Entertainment is
navigate
endless.
differently.
Distractions
This wasn't
are
the end
everywhere.
of overthinking.
Every company on
This
the
was
planet is
finally
fighting
learning
for
to
your
walk through it.
attention and
And
winning.
today, quietly,
So if you've
slowly,
been feeling
you
guilty
took
for
control
not
back.
stop being
Chapter
lazy.
3. The
The
loop we
Energy
live
and
in.
Action Plan.
You didn't notice when
Written
it
and
began.
published by
No
Imperium
alarm went off.
Audiobooks.
No
You
sign
already
appeared
know
in the
what
sky.
it feels like to
No
live below
voice
your
whispered
potential.
careful. Your
You
mind
wake
is
up every
looping
day
again.
with good
It
intentions.
just happened the way it
maybe
always
even
does.
a to-do list.
One thought
maybe
returned,
even big dreams.
then another.
And then watch
Then the same
hours
thought
slip
again,
away
dressed
as you
slightly differently,
procrastinate,
but still
distract
familiar,
yourself,
still sharp.
and tell yourself,
Came back
I'll
like a
start
song you
tomorrow.
can't stop humming.
And when tomorrow
Annoying,
comes, the cycle
persistent, sticky.
repeats. The
You
truth
tried
is,
distracting
you
yourself.
don't lack ambition.
You scrolled,
you don't
you
lack
cleaned,
intelligence.
you opened apps you didn't
don't
need.
even lack
You walked
discipline
from
as
room
much
to
as
room
you
like
think.
someone searching
What
for
you
something
lack
they
is
had
a
never
system,
owned.
a way
But
to create
distraction is
energy
only
and
a
momentum
bandage.
that carries you
hides the
forward
wound, it
even on
never
the
heals
days
it.
you don't feel
And
like
eventually
it.
the thought
This
caught
book
up.
is that
It
system.
always does.
We live in
What
a
was the
world
thought
where
this
it's
time?
easier than ever
Maybe
to
it
be
was
lazy.
an old conversation,
Entertainment is
a mistake
endless.
you made months ago,
Distractions are everywhere.
something you should have
Every
said but
company
didn't,
on the planet
something
is
you
fighting
wish you
for
could
your
erase,
attention
rewrite,
and
redo.
winning.
And
So if
suddenly
you've been
you were
feeling
back
guilty
there,
for not
standing in a
being
memory
lazy,
that no longer
the
existed
Energy
outside
and
of your
Action
mind.
Plan,
You replayed
written
it
and
like a
published
movie.
by Imperium
First scene,
Audiobooks.
what happened?
You already
Second
know
scene,
what it feels
what you
like
wished
to
you
live
said.
below your
Third
potential.
scene,
You
what you
wake up
feared they
every
thought
day
of
with
you.
good intentions.
Fourth scene,
Maybe
what you
even a
believe they
to-do
still
list.
think.
Maybe
The
even
mind
big
is
dreams.
creative like that.
And then watch
It
hours
takes one
slip away
moment and
as you
multiplies it
procrastinate.
until you're living in a
Distract
reality
yourself
that never
and tell
happened.
yourself,
Hours
I'll
passed
start
around you
tomorrow.
and you didn't
And
even
when tomorrow
notice.
comes, the
Time
cycle
moves
repeats.
quickly when your mind
The
is
truth
busy
is,
building
you
worlds.
don't lack ambition.
You want it to stop the
You
loop.
don't lack
You
intelligence.
could feel it draining
You don't even lack
slowly,
discipline as much
quietly,
as
like
you
a
think.
leak you don't see
What
until
you
the
lack
floor
is a
wet.
system, a
Your
way
chest
to
felt
create
heavy.
energy and
Your jaw
momentum
tight.
that carries
Your
you
thoughts
forward even on the
crowded
days
like
you
traffic
don't feel
with no
like
police,
it.
no
This
direction,
book is
no
that
exit.
system.
You
We
touched
live in
your
a world
forehead,
where it's
breathing
easier
out
than ever
slowly,
to be
and
lazy.
asked yourself something you'd
Entertainment
never
is
asked
endless.
before.
Distractions
Why do I
are
keep
everywhere.
returning to the
Every
same thoughts?
company on the planet
What am I
is
really
fighting
trying
for
to
your
solve?
attention
It felt
and winning.
strange questioning
So
the
if you've
loop.
been feeling guilty for
Overthinking
not
is usually
stop
automatic.
being lazy.
You don't think
The
about it,
Energy
you
and
just get
Action
swept
Plan.
into it.
Written and
Like a
published
river,
by
fast and
Imperium
forceful.
Audiobooks.
But this
You
time you
already know
paused.
what it
You
feels like
observed.
to live below
You
your
listened.
potential.
Maybe the
You
loop
wake up
wasn't
every
about
day
the
with
memory
good
itself.
intentions.
Maybe it
Maybe
was
even
about
a to-do
something
list.
deeper.
Maybe
A
even
need for
big
certainty,
dreams. And
a
then
fear
watch
of judgment,
hours slip away
a
as
desire
you
to feel
procrastinate.
safe in control.
Distract yourself
The loop
and
wasn't
tell
attacking
yourself,
you.
I'll
It was
start
protecting
tomorrow.
you,
And when
clumsily,
tomorrow comes,
painfully,
the
but
cycle
trying.
repeats.
Your mind
The truth
replays
is,
things
you
because
don't
it's
lack
searching for
ambition.
closure.
You don't
It
lack
wants to
intelligence.
fix what can't be changed.
You don't even lack
It wants
discipline
answers
as
to
much as you
questions
think.
that no longer
What
matter.
you lack is a
It
system,
believes that
a way
thinking
to
more means
create
hurting
energy
less.
and momentum
But the more
that
you
carries
think,
you
the more it
forward
hurts.
even on the
You
days you
sat
don't
down,
feel
letting
like
the
it.
truth settle
This
like
book is
dust
that
in
system.
sunlight.
We
The
live
loop
in a
wasn't
world
the
where
enemy.
it's easier than
Your
ever to
reaction
be
to it
lazy.
was. When the thought
Entertainment
came
is
back
endless.
again, a little
Distractions
weaker
are
this time,
everywhere.
you didn't
Every
chase
company
it.
on the planet
You didn't
is
argue
fighting
with
for
it.
your attention
You didn't
and
analyze
winning.
every
So
angle
if
like
you've
a
been feeling
detective hunting
guilty for not
evidence of your own
stop being
failure.
lazy,
You simply
the
whispered,
Energy and Action
"This
Plan,
already happened.
written and
I don't
published
have to
by
relive
Imperium
it."
Audiobooks.
There was relief in
You
those
already
words.
know what it
Not
feels like
dramatic,
to live below
not
your
explosive.
potential.
Just
You
a
wake
soft
up every day
loosening,
with good
like a knot
intentions,
slowly
maybe
untwisting.
even a to-do list.
You realize
maybe
something
even
monumental.
big dreams, and then
Overthinking
watch
is a
hours
habit,
slip
not a
away
destiny.
as you procrastinate.
And habits can be
Distract
rewired.
yourself
Every
and tell
loop is a
yourself,
doorway.
I'll start
Every
tomorrow.
recurring thought
And
is
when
an
tomorrow
opportunity to
comes, the
practice
cycle
release.
repeats.
Not by
The truth
force,
is, you
not
don't
by
lack
fighting,
ambition.
but
You
by
don't
seeing
lack
clearly.
intelligence.
You are not
You
the
don't
thought.
even lack
You
discipline
are
as
the
much as
awareness
you
behind
think.
it.
What you
You
lack
walked
is
to the
a
mirror,
system,
looked into
a
your
way
own
to
eyes.
create energy
Not
and
to judge,
momentum
not to
that
criticize,
carries you
but to
forward
recognize.
even on the days
You
you
felt
don't
tired,
feel like
but
it.
not defeated.
This book is that
Drained,
system.
but not broken.
We live in
Because
a world
today
where
you
it's
caught the
easier
loop in
than
the
ever
act.
to be lazy.
You saw it forming.
Entertainment is
And
endless.
instead of falling into it
Distractions are
blindly, you
everywhere.
slowed down,
Every
you questioned,
company
you
on the
breathed
planet
through
is
it.
fighting for
It
your
didn't vanish
attention
completely.
and winning.
It didn't
So if you've
disappear
been feeling
forever,
guilty for
but
not
it lost
stop
power.
being lazy,
And that mattered more
the
than
Energy and
perfection.
Action Plan,
This was your third
written
step
and published
forward.
by Imperium
Quiet, small,
Audiobooks.
invisible
You
to the
already
outside
know
world,
what it
but
feels
life-changing
like to live
inside
below
you.
your potential.
You learned that thoughts
You wake
repeat
up
when
every day
lessons
with
haven't
good
been
intentions.
understood.
Maybe
And today,
even a to-do list,
slowly, quietly,
maybe even
you began
big
to
dreams,
understand.
and then watch
If you're ready, we
hours
go
slip
deeper
away
next.
as you procrastinate.
Because the mind isn't done
Distract
testing you
yourself
yet.
and tell
The
yourself,
real
I'll
transformation
start
begins
tomorrow.
when you no longer
And when
fear your
tomorrow
thoughts.
comes, the cycle
When you learn to meet
repeats.
them calmly
The truth
with eyes
is,
open.
you don't lack
Chapter
ambition.
4.
You don't
Silence
lack
is louder
intelligence.
than noise.
You don't even
There was
lack
a moment
discipline
later
as
that
much as
evening,
you think.
not planned,
What you lack
not
is
forced,
a system,
just happening
a way
naturally,
to create energy
when
and
everything around you
momentum
became
that carries
impossibly
you
quiet.
forward even on
No
the days you don't
notifications,
feel like it.
no
This book
conversations,
is that system.
no rushing
We
thoughts
live in a
demanding
world where
attention.
it's easier than
Just
ever to be
silence.
lazy.
Most people think
Entertainment is
silence is
endless.
peaceful, but
Distractions
if you're an
are everywhere.
overthinker,
Every
silence is
company
not
on the
empty.
planet is fighting
Silence
for your
is a
attention
room where your thoughts
and
echo
winning.
louder.
So if
At
you've been
first you
feeling
felt
guilty
uneasy.
for not stop
Stillness
being
felt
lazy,
unnatural, like
the
holding
Energy
your
and
breath
Action
underwater.
Plan,
Silence
and
became a
published by
mirror,
Imperium
and every
Audiobooks.
unfinished thought,
You already
every
know what it
anxiety,
feels like
every
to live
buried
below
memory
your
rose
potential.
like bubbles to
You
the
wake
surface.
up every day with
And
good
suddenly there
intentions,
they were,
maybe
the
even
things
a
you had
to-do
been
list,
avoiding.
maybe
You
even
sat
big
with them
dreams,
anyway,
and then
because
watch
something
hours
within
slip
you,
away
something
as you
new, wanted to
procrastinate,
face yourself instead
distract
of running.
yourself, and
The
tell
stillness
yourself,
wasn't an
I'll
enemy,
start
it
tomorrow,
was a doorway,
and when tomorrow
a chance
comes,
to
the
listen.
cycle repeats.
For the first time
The
you
truth
asked,
is, you
what is
don't
really
lack
bothering
ambition.
me?
You
not
don't
the
lack
story, not the
intelligence.
surface.
You don't even
What's
lack
beneath all of
discipline
this?
as much as you
You
think.
closed your
What
eyes,
you lack
hands
is a
resting
system,
loosely in
a
your
way
lap,
to create
and
energy
like
and
peeling
momentum
layers from an
that
onion,
carries you
you
forward
explored
even on the
gently,
days you
carefully.
don't feel like
A
it.
situation
This
had
book
triggered
is
you
that
yesterday.
system. We
Someone's
live in a
tone,
world where it's
someone's
easier than
reaction.
ever to be lazy.
It seems small, but the sting
Entertainment is
stayed.
endless.
What? Not
Distractions are
because of them,
everywhere.
but
Every
because it
company
touched
on the
something
planet
old
is
inside
fighting
you,
for your
a
attention
belief that
and
you
winning.
needed to be understood,
So if you've been feeling
like
guilty for
accepted,
not
approved.
stop being
The
lazy.
fear wasn't about one
The
person's
Energy and
opinion.
Action Plan.
It was about your
Written and
relationship
published
with
by
yourself.
Imperium Audiobooks.
Silence revealed
You
that.
already know
You
what it
breathed
feels
deeper,
like to
slower.
live below your
You
potential.
noticed the tension in
You
your
wake
shoulders.
up every day with
You
good
noticed how
intentions,
tightly your mind
maybe
held on
even
to
a
things.
to-do list,
You noticed
maybe
how
even
badly
big
you wanted
dreams,
clarity.
and then watch
You
hours
whispered to
slip
yourself,
away as you
I
procrastinate,
cannot control others,
distract yourself,
but I can
and tell
control how much
yourself,
power they
I'll
have
start
over me.
tomorrow.
And in
when
that
tomorrow
moment, the
comes,
silence
the
didn't
cycle
feel scary
repeats.
anymore.
The truth is,
It felt like
you
space.
don't lack ambition.
Room to think,
you don't
but
lack
also
intelligence.
room to let go.
You don't even
You
lack
sat there
discipline
longer,
as
not
much as
fighting
you
the
think.
thoughts, not
What you
forcing
lack is a
solutions,
system,
just
a
observing.
way to create
And the
energy
more you
and
observed,
momentum
the more
that
you
carries
realized
you
something
forward
profound.
even on the days you don't
Overthinking
feel
is
like
not
it.
your mind
This
attacking
book
you.
is that system.
It is your mind trying
We
to
live in
protect
a world
you.
where it's
It
easier
warns
than
you,
ever to be
prepares you,
lazy.
scans for danger
Entertainment
even
is
when none
endless.
exists.
Distractions
Your brain
are
evolved
everywhere.
to keep you
Every
alive,
company on the
not to
planet
keep you
is fighting
peaceful.
for your attention
Peace is something
and
you must
winning.
learn.
So if
The
you've been
silence
feeling
deepened,
guilty
and
for not
instead of filling
stop
it with
being
noise,
lazy,
you allowed
the
yourself to
Energy and
sink into
Action
it.
Plan.
You listened to
Written
the
and
soft
published
rhythm
by
of your own
Imperium
breathing.
Audiobooks.
Inhale,
You already
exhale,
know what it feels
like
like
waves,
to live below your
like
potential.
footsteps,
You
like
wake
time
up
moving
every day
without
with
rush.
good intentions,
For a moment,
maybe even
there
a
was
to-do
no
list,
past replaying,
maybe even
no
big
future
dreams,
collapsing,
and then
no
watch
mental
hours
rehearsing
slip
of
away
worst-case
as you
scenarios.
procrastinate,
Just now.
distract yourself,
And you realize
tell
that
yourself,
now is the only
I'll
place
start
peace
tomorrow.
exists.
And when
Not
tomorrow
yesterday,
comes, the
your mind
cycle
replays
repeats.
it only to
The
suffer
truth
it again.
is, you don't
Not
lack
tomorrow,
ambition.
your mind
you don't
imagines
lack
it only to
intelligence.
fear it early.
You don't even lack
Only here.
discipline as much
Only
as you
now.
think.
You
What
opened
you
your
lack
eyes
is
slowly.
a system,
The
a
room
way to
hadn't
create
changed,
energy and
but you
momentum
had.
that
Your
carries
thoughts
you
were still
forward
there,
even
yes,
on the days
but
you
they were
don't
no
feel
longer
like
choking
it.
you.
This book
No
is
longer
that system.
crowding your chest like
We live
heavy
in a world
stones.
where it's
They
easier
were like
than ever to
birds,
be lazy.
resting for a moment,
Entertainment
then
is
ready
endless.
to fly away.
Distractions
You
are
learned
everywhere.
something critical.
Every company
Peace
on the
isn't found
planet
by
is fighting
escaping
for
your
your
mind,
attention
but
and
by
winning.
learning how to sit
So
with
if
it.
you've been feeling
Silence
guilty
didn't
for
break
not
you.
stop
It
being
revealed you.
lazy.
It showed
The
you your
Energy and
wounds, your
Action
fears,
Plan.
your
Written
expectations,
and
your
published
triggers.
by Imperium
And instead of
Audiobooks.
drowning in them, you stayed
already
afloat.
know what it feels
That
like
matters.
to live below
Because
your potential.
transformation doesn't
You
come
wake
from
up every
running
day
away
with
from
good
yourself.
intentions,
It comes
maybe
from
even
finally
a to-do
meeting
list,
yourself with calm
maybe
curiosity.
even big dreams,
You stood
and
up,
then watch
stretched,
hours
and felt
slip
a
away
softness
as you
inside you.
procrastinate,
Not
distract
triumph,
yourself,
not victory,
and
just
tell
growth.
yourself, I'll
Quiet,
start
slow,
tomorrow.
real.
And when
Tonight,
tomorrow
you didn't
comes,
silence
the
your
cycle
mind.
repeats.
You made peace
the truth
with its
is,
noise.
you don't
The
lack
world
ambition.
would test you again.
You don't lack
Thoughts would
intelligence.
return.
You don't even lack
Situations would
discipline
trigger.
as much as you
People
think.
would misunderstand.
What you lack is a system,
But now you had
a
a
way
new
to
weapon.
create energy
Not
and
force,
momentum that
not
carries you
suppression,
forward even
not
on the
avoidance.
days you don't feel
Awareness.
like it. This
And
book
awareness
is that
is the
system.
beginning of freedom.
We live in a world
Chapter
where
5.
it's easier than
The
ever to
moment
be
you take
lazy.
back control.
Entertainment
The
is
next
endless.
morning felt different.
Distractions are
Not
everywhere.
easier, just
Every
clearer.
company on the
Your
planet
mind
is
still
fighting
moved,
for your
still
attention
wandered, still
and
offered
winning.
you 100
So if
thoughts
you've been
before
feeling
breakfast.
guilty for not
But there was
stop
space
being
now.
lazy,
A slight
the Energy
separation
and
between
Action
you and
Plan.
your thinking.
Written
You
and
noticed
published
things you
by
used to be
Imperium
blind to.
Audiobooks.
The way a
You
single
already know
thought could
what it
rise
feels
like
like
smoke,
to live below
thin
your
and
potential.
innocent,
You
then
wake
build
up
into
every
a
day
dense
with
fog
good
that
intentions,
swallowed your entire
maybe
mood.
even a to-do
The
list,
way your brain
maybe
reached for
even
what
big
is like a
dreams,
reflex.
and then watch
The way
hours
silence
slip away
invited
as you
reflection instead of
procrastinate,
panic.
distract yourself,
The way observing
and
your
tell
thoughts
yourself,
made them less
I'll
threatening,
start tomorrow.
less sharp.
And when
You were
tomorrow
changing
comes,
even
the
if the
cycle
world
repeats.
hadn't noticed yet.
The truth is,
Transformation
you don't lack
rarely
ambition.
announces itself.
You don't lack
It
intelligence.
unfolds quietly,
You don't even lack
inside
discipline
routine
as much
mornings,
as you
inside
think.
small
What you
decisions,
lack is a
inside the way
system,
you breathe
a
when
way to
discomfort
create
comes.
energy and
That
momentum
day,
that
something happened that would have normally ruined you. A message came in, short, vague, easily misunderstood.
We live in a world
tone you
where it's
couldn't read.
easier than ever to
No
be
emoji.
lazy. Entertainment
warmth.
is endless.
Just words that left
Distractions
space
are
for your
everywhere.
mind to fill with
Every
fear.
company on the
Old
planet
you would have
is fighting
spiraled.
for your attention
You would have
and
replayed
winning.
it, decoded
So
it,
if you've
twisted
been
it
feeling
until you were
guilty for
convinced
not
something was
stop
wrong.
being lazy,
You would have imagined
the Energy and
scenarios where you
Action Plan,
offended them.
written
You
and
would have written
published by
apology
Imperium
speeches in your head
Audiobooks,
before anything
you
was
already
actually
know
wrong.
what it feels like
But this
to live
time you
below
paused.
your potential.
You didn't
You
respond
wake up
immediately.
every day with good
You
intentions.
didn't analyze it from
maybe
20
even a to-do
emotional
list,
angles.
maybe even
You took
big
a breath
dreams,
and asked yourself
then
the
watch
question that
hours
marks
slip away
emotional
as you
maturity.
procrastinate.
What else could this
Distract
mean
yourself
besides the
and
worst?
tell yourself,
Maybe they
I'll
were
start
busy.
tomorrow.
Maybe they
and
were
when
tired.
tomorrow comes,
Maybe
the
they
cycle
typed quickly.
repeats.
Maybe it meant nothing at all.
You don't lack ambition.
Not everything that feels personal is personal.
You don't
repeated
even lack
that softly,
discipline as much
like
as
a
you
reminder
think.
to your nervous
What you lack
system.
is a system,
Not everything
a way
requires
to
a
create
reaction.
energy and momentum
Not every
that
tone
carries
is an
you
attack.
forward even on
Not
the days
every
you don't
silence
feel
is
like
rejection.
it. This book
The mind
is that
always
system.
defaults to threat.
We live in a world
It
where
assumes
it's easier
danger,
than ever to be
criticism,
lazy.
disapproval.
Entertainment
Not
is
because
endless.
you're weak,
Distractions
but because
are
the brain
everywhere.
is built for
Every
survival,
company
not
on the
happiness.
planet is fighting for
Happiness
your
is
attention
intentional.
and winning.
Peace is
So
practiced.
if you've been feeling
Calm is
guilty
earned.
for not being
And for the first time,
lazy,
you could feel yourself
the
earning
Energy
it.
and Action
You
Plan,
responded to the message
written and
hours
published
later,
by Imperium
calmly, without
Audiobooks.
emotional weight.
You already know
And guess
what
what?
it feels like
Their
to live
reply
below
came
your
back
potential.
cheerful, kind,
You wake
completely
up
normal.
every day with good
All
intentions,
the panic you almost
maybe
surrendered
even
to,
a to-do list,
it wasn't real.
maybe even big
It never
dreams,
was.
and then
Most
watch
of the
hours
things you
slip
worry
away
about
as
never
you
happen.
procrastinate.
Most of the
Distract
conflicts
yourself
you rehearse
and
never
tell
occur.
yourself, I'll
Most
start
of the
tomorrow,
assumptions you
and
build
when
crumble
tomorrow
the moment
comes,
truth
the cycle
arrives.
repeats.
Overthinking
The truth
creates
is,
pain
you
that
don't
reality
lack
never
ambition.
intended for
you
you.
don't lack
You
intelligence.
realize something
you don't
powerful
even
in
lack
that moment.
discipline as much
You
as
can
you
choose
think.
your response.
What you lack is
You
a
can
system,
choose your
a way to
interpretation.
create
You
energy
can
and
choose your
momentum
peace.
that carries you
single
forward
choice changed
even on the
everything.
days you don't
The
feel
mind
like
still
it.
offered you
This book
storms,
is that
but
system.
you no longer walked
We live
into
in a
them
world
blind.
where it's
You
easier
stood
than
at
ever
the
to be
edge,
lazy.
observing the clouds
Entertainment
rather
is
than being
endless.
swallowed by them.
Distractions are
And
everywhere.
slowly, quietly,
Every company
you
on the
began to
planet is
understand the
fighting
nature
for your
of thought.
attention
A
and
thought
winning.
is not a command.
So if you've been
A
feeling
thought is not a
guilty for not
truth.
stop
A thought
being
is not
lazy,
you. A thought
the
is just
Energy
a
and Action
suggestion,
Plan,
one of many.
written and published
You are the
by
one who
Imperium
decides which
Audiobooks.
suggestions to believe.
You already know
This
what it feels
realization
like to
didn't
live
feel like
below your
fireworks.
potential.
It felt
You
like
wake
a
up
key,
every day
small,
with good
metallic,
intentions,
quietly
maybe
waiting in your
even a
palm.
to-do list,
A key that
maybe
opens
even
the
big
door
dreams,
out of mental chaos.
and then watch
You
hours
sat
slip
on the
away
edge of
as
your
you
bed, breathing
procrastinate.
deeply,
Distract
letting
yourself
the idea
and
settle
tell
into you
yourself,
like roots.
I'll start
I
tomorrow.
don't have to react
And
to
when
everything
tomorrow
that passes
comes, the
through my
cycle
mind.
repeats.
I can
The
observe
truth
without
is,
absorbing.
you don't lack ambition.
I can witness
you
without
don't lack
obeying.
intelligence.
You felt something
you don't even
soften
lack
inside
discipline
you.
as much as
Not
you think.
numbness,
What
presence.
you lack is a system,
Not
a
indifference,
way
strength.
to create energy
Because
and
real
momentum
control doesn't
that
come
carries
from
you
shutting
forward
down
even on
feelings.
the days you
It
don't
comes
feel
from
like
understanding
it.
them,
This book
meeting
is
them,
that
choosing
system.
not to be ruled
We
by
live in a
them.
world where
You
it's
imagined
easier
your
than
mind
ever
like
to
a
be
sky,
lazy.
vast,
Entertainment is
open,
endless.
limitless.
Distractions
Thoughts like
are
clouds
everywhere.
drifting through.
Every company
Some
on the
dark,
planet is
some light,
fighting for
some
your
loud with
attention
thunder.
and winning.
But you
So
were
if
the
you've been
sky,
feeling
not the
guilty
weather.
for not
Storms
being
pass,
lazy,
clouds move,
the Energy and
thoughts
Action
rise
Plan,
and dissolve.
written and
And for the
published
first
by
time in a
Imperium
long time,
Audiobooks,
you could feel
you
space
already
inside
know
your
what it
chest.
feels like to
Breathing
live below
became
your
smoother.
potential.
The world
you wake
felt
up
less
every day
threatening.
with good intentions,
Life became less of a
maybe even a
battlefield
to-do
and more
list,
of a landscape.
maybe even big
Not
dreams,
perfect,
and then
not
watch
silent,
hours slip
but
away as you
navigable.
procrastinate.
You weren't fighting your
Distract
mind
yourself
anymore.
and tell
You were
yourself,
finally learning
I'll
how to
start
live with
tomorrow.
it, how
And
to
when
guide it
tomorrow
gently
comes,
instead
the
of being
cycle
dragged by
repeats.
it.
The truth
This chapter
is,
wasn't
you don't
about
lack
victory.
ambition.
It was
you
about
don't lack
realization,
intelligence.
a
You
shift,
don't even lack
a reclaiming,
discipline as much as
a
you
small
think.
moment that
What
changes
you lack
everything.
is a system,
Because
a
the
way
day
to
you learn
create
you don't have
energy
to
and
react to
momentum
every thought.
that carries you
That is the
forward
day you
even on the
begin to
days
truly
you don't
live.
feel like it.
Chapter 6,
This book is
when
that
self-doubt
system.
speaks and
we
you
live in
answer
a world
differently.
where it's easier
It
than ever
happened
to
on a
be
day
lazy.
that looked harmless.
Entertainment
A
is
normal
endless.
sunrise, a
Distractions
calm morning,
are everywhere.
nothing dramatic.
Every company on
Yet
the
inside
planet
your
is
mind,
fighting for
something
your
else was
attention
waiting.
and winning.
A whisper.
So if you've been
Quiet,
feeling
familiar,
guilty for
sharp
not
as glass.
stop being lazy,
Are you sure you're enough?
the Energy and Action
It didn't
Plan,
shout. It
written
didn't
and
need to.
published by Imperium
Self-doubt never
Audiobooks.
arrives loudly.
You already
It
know what
slips
it
in like a
feels
shadow,
like to live
subtle,
below your
believable.
potential.
And
You
before
wake
you
up
know
every
it,
day with
every
good
thought you
intentions,
tame begins to
maybe
tremble
even a
again.
to-do list,
You felt
maybe
it in your
even
chest
big
first,
dreams,
that
and
heavy
then watch
pull
hours
like gravity
slip away
increasing.
as you procrastinate.
Then in your stomach,
Distract yourself
a tightening,
and
a
tell
quiet
yourself,
dread.
I'll
Then
start
in your
tomorrow. And
a
when
flood of
tomorrow
questions
comes,
no one
the
asked you
cycle
to answer.
repeats.
What
The
if I
truth is,
fail?
you don't
What if
lack
people
ambition.
notice?
You
What
don't
if I'm
lack
not ready?
intelligence.
What if
you
I'm
don't even
fooling
lack
myself?
discipline as much as you
Overthinking
think.
isn't always
What you
about
lack
the
is a
past.
system, a way
Sometimes
to
it's the
create
future that
energy and
haunts you
momentum
louder.
that carries
Possibility
forward
becomes
even
threat.
on the days you don't
Potential
feel
becomes
like it.
pressure.
This book
And
is
even
that
your dreams
system.
start to feel like
We
traps.
live in a world where
You
it's
sat
easier
down,
than ever
palms
to be
warm
lazy.
against your knees,
Entertainment
breathing
is endless.
unevenly, feeling
Distractions
yourself
are
slipping
everywhere.
back into old
Every
patterns.
company on the
It
planet
would have
is
been
fighting
easy
for
to
your
drown,
attention
to
and
spiral,
winning.
to
So
let
if
fear
you've been
build
feeling
another
guilty
cage
for
and
not
lock the door
stop
from the
being
inside.
lazy.
But this
The
time,
Energy and
you
Action
remembered
Plan.
the silence
Written
you
and
sat
published
with,
by
the
Imperium
loop you observed,
Audiobooks.
the moment
You
you
already
didn't
know
react
what
to
it
the thought
feels
that
like to
wanted
live below
control.
your potential.
You had learned something
You wake up
quietly
every
but
day
deeply.
with good intentions.
You cannot stop
maybe
thoughts from
even a
knocking,
to-do list.
but you can
maybe
choose who
even
you let
big
inside.
dreams. And
So
then
instead
watch
of running,
hours
you
slip
face the
away as
voice.
you procrastinate.
You asked it
Distract
calmly,
yourself
like speaking to
and
a
tell
child.
yourself,
Why
I'll
are you
start
here?
tomorrow.
The question felt strange, even foolish, yet powerful.
The truth is,
Self-doubt
you don't lack
hesitated.
ambition.
It
You
always
don't lack
hesitates when you
intelligence.
turn toward it
You
instead
don't
of
even
away.
lack discipline
And
as much as
slowly
you
the
think.
truth surfaced.
What you lack
Doubt
is a
wasn't
system,
there to
a
destroy
way
you.
to create
It was
energy
there
and
to
momentum
protect you
that
from
carries you
embarrassment,
forward
from
even
risk,
on the
from
days you don't
discomfort.
feel like it.
It was fear
This
wearing
book is
concern
that
like a
system.
mask.
We
Your
live in a
mind
world
wasn't
where
telling
it's
you you were
easier than ever to
incapable.
be lazy.
It was asking if you were
Entertainment
safe.
is endless.
You placed a hand over
Distractions
your
are
chest,
everywhere.
feeling
Every
the steady
company on the
rhythm
planet
beneath.
is fighting for
Not
your
rushed,
attention
not
and winning.
panicked.
So
Alive,
if you've been feeling
present.
guilty for not
You responded
stop
to the
being
doubt,
lazy,
not with anger,
the
not with
Energy and
denial,
Action
but
Plan,
with something new.
written and
I may
published
not
by
know
Imperium
everything,
Audiobooks,
but I am willing
you
to learn.
already know what it feels
Self-doubt
like to
weakened,
live below your
not
potential.
defeated completely,
You
but
wake up every
disarmed.
day with good
Because
intentions,
doubt loses power
maybe
the
even
moment
a
you
to-do
stop
list,
needing certainty
maybe
to move
even
forward.
big dreams,
You stood
and then
up.
watch
You
hours slip
stretched your
away
arms,
as you
your back,
procrastinate,
your lungs filling
distract
with air you
yourself,
didn't allow
and
yourself
tell yourself,
yesterday.
I'll
Not
start
confidence,
tomorrow,
just
and when
readiness.
tomorrow
Not
comes, the
bravado,
cycle
just
repeats.
presence.
The truth
You took
is,
one small
you don't
action
lack
you had been
ambition.
avoiding.
You don't
Just
lack
one.
intelligence.
A message
You don't
sent.
even lack
A task
discipline as
begun.
much as you think.
A fear
What you
confronted
lack
quietly.
is a system,
And
a
the
way
world
to
didn't
create
collapse.
energy and momentum
No one
that
judged.
carries you
No
forward
disaster
even on the
unfolded.
days you don't feel
Instead,
like
something
it.
simple
This
happened.
book is that system.
You grew.
We
Not
live in
in
a
leaps,
world where it's
not
easier
in
than ever to
fireworks,
be lazy.
but in tiny,
Entertainment is
almost
endless.
invisible increments,
Distractions are
the
everywhere.
kind that build
Every
resilience
company on
instead
the
of
planet
ego.
is fighting
You
for your
realize
attention
something important.
and winning.
Confidence
So if
is
you've
not a
been
feeling
feeling
you wait
guilty
for.
not
It is a
stop
result
being
of doing
lazy.
things scared.
The Energy
A
and
mind
Action
that
Plan,
overthinks is a mind
written
that
and
imagines
published by
every possible
Imperium
failure.
Audiobooks.
But a
You
mind that
already
takes
know
action
what it feels
discovers
like
real
to live below
outcomes,
your potential.
not imagined ones.
You wake up every
You walk
day
to the
with
mirror
good
again,
intentions,
but this time the
maybe
reflection
even a
looked
to-do
different.
list, maybe
Not because
even
your
big
face
dreams,
changed,
and then
but
watch
because your
hours slip
perception
away
did.
as you
You
procrastinate,
noticed the quiet strength
distract
behind
yourself,
your eyes.
and tell yourself,
Not loud, not
I'll start
arrogant,
tomorrow,
steady.
and when tomorrow
Self-doubt
comes,
still
the cycle
whispered,
repeats.
but its voice
The
sounded
truth is,
smaller now,
you don't
like
lack
background
ambition.
noise rather than
You
a
don't
command.
lack intelligence.
Because today you
don't
responded
even lack
with truth.
discipline as much
I
as
do
you
not have
think.
to feel ready
What
to
you
begin.
lack is a system,
I only have to
a way
begin.
to create
The
energy
day
and
continued,
momentum
not
that
perfectly,
carries you
but
forward
peacefully.
even on the days
Your
you
mind
don't
still
feel
wandered,
like it.
still
This
tested
book
you,
is that
still
system.
offered fears dressed
We
as
live
caution.
in a world where it's
But
easier
something
than ever
inside
to
you
be
had
lazy.
shifted.
Entertainment
You were no
is
longer a
endless.
passenger in your thoughts.
Distractions are
You
everywhere.
were learning to steer.
Every company on the
Not
planet
with aggression,
is fighting for your
not
attention
with force,
and winning.
with awareness,
So if you've been
with
feeling
breathing,
guilty for not
with presence,
stop being lazy,
with the courage to
the
move
Energy
forward
and
even
Action
when your
Plan,
mind trembled.
written and
Because
published
mastery
by
doesn't
Imperium
come when fear
Audiobooks.
disappears.
You already
It
know
comes
what
when
it
fear
feels
no
like
longer
to live
decides
below
the
your
direction of
potential.
your life.
You wake
And
up
today
every
you
day
chose
with
your
good
direction,
intentions,
quietly,
maybe even a to-do
bravely,
list, maybe
deliberately.
even big dreams,
The journey
and
continues.
then watch hours
The mind
slip
will
away
challenge
as
you
you
again.
procrastinate,
Thoughts will
distract
return.
yourself,
Doubt
and
will
tell
revisit.
yourself, I'll
But now
start
you
tomorrow,
have something
and
stronger.
when tomorrow
You
comes,
know that you
the
can
cycle
answer
repeats.
differently.
The truth
Chapter
is,
7,
you don't
The
lack
Quiet
ambition.
Revolution.
You don't
There
lack
comes a
intelligence.
moment in every
You
mind
don't
journey
even
where
lack
the battle is
discipline
no
as much
longer
as you
loud.
think.
No
What you
racing
lack is a
thoughts,
system,
no
a way to
constant
create
worry,
energy
no
and
mental
momentum
storms,
that carries
just
you forward
stillness.
even on the
But
days
this
you don't
stillness
feel
rarely
like
begins
it.
peacefully.
This book is that
It starts
system.
with discomfort,
We live in a
with
world
an
where it's
unfamiliar
easier than
silence
ever
that
to be
almost
lazy.
scares you.
Entertainment
After a
is
lifetime
endless.
of thinking,
Distractions
planning,
are
predicting,
everywhere.
replaying,
Every
and
company on
worrying,
the
the
planet
absence
is
of
fighting
noise
for
can
your
feel like
attention
losing a part of
and
yourself.
winning. So
Like
if you've
stepping
been
into a
feeling
room
guilty
you've
for
never
not
been allowed to
stop
enter.
being lazy.
Yet this
The
this
Energy and
quiet
Action
is
Plan,
where transformation
written and
begins.
published by
The
Imperium
first signs of
Audiobooks.
change.
You
notice
already
it
know
gradually.
what it feels like
A
to
problem
live below
that once
your
would have
potential.
consumed your day
You wake up
now
every day
passes
with
like
good
a cloud.
intentions,
A comment
maybe
that
even
used
a
to
to-do
replay
list,
in your mind
maybe
like a
even
broken
big
record
dreams, and
suddenly
then watch
loses
hours
power.
slip away
You
as
respond
you
slowly
procrastinate,
instead of
distract
instantly.
yourself,
You
and
observe
tell
instead
yourself,
of react.
I'll start
You
tomorrow,
choose instead of
and
being
when
pulled.
tomorrow comes,
People
the
around
cycle
you see
repeats.
something different.
The truth is,
The
you
softness
don't
in your
lack ambition.
responses.
You don't
calm
lack
in your eyes,
intelligence.
like
You
someone
don't
who has
even
seen
lack
storms
discipline
and
as much
decided
as you
not
think.
to fear rain.
What you lack
You
is a
aren't thoughtless,
system,
just
a way
way
to create
a new
energy
kind of
and
strength.
momentum that carries you
Overthinking once
forward
made you
even
feel
on the
prepared.
days you don't
Now
feel like
clarity
it.
makes you
This book
unstoppable.
is that system.
You don't need to
We live
analyze
in a
everything
world
to
where
feel
it's
safe.
easier than ever to
You
be
don't need to
lazy.
predict outcomes to
Entertainment
feel in
is endless.
control. You
Distractions
don't need to
are
replay
everywhere.
the past to
Every
find lessons.
company on the planet
You live.
is fighting for
You
your
move forward.
attention and
Not
winning.
recklessly,
So
just
if you've been
intentionally.
feeling guilty
And
for
when
not
your mind tries to
stop
pull you
being
back
lazy,
into old patterns,
the
you
Energy
whisper,
and Action Plan,
I don't need to think
written and
everything to
published by
survive.
Imperium
And the mind
Audiobooks.
listens.
You already
The
know
turning
what
point.
it feels like
Life
to live
becomes
below
lighter.
your potential.
You wake up
You
and
wake
your
up
first
every
thought
day
isn't a
with
worry.
good intentions.
You speak
maybe
without
even a
rehearsing
to-do list,
conversations in your
maybe
head.
even big dreams.
You make decisions
and then
without
watch
drowning
hours
in
slip
doubt.
away as you
You let
procrastinate.
people go without
Distract
chasing
yourself
closure.
and tell
You let
yourself,
life
I'll
unfold
start
without
tomorrow,
demanding guarantees.
and when tomorrow
Your
comes,
brain
the
isn't a
cycle
battlefield
repeats.
anymore.
The truth is,
It's a garden,
you don't lack
growing
ambition.
habits of
You
ease,
don't lack
awareness, and
intelligence.
simplicity.
You don't even
You
lack
realize
discipline
something
as much as
profound.
you think.
You were never
What you
fighting
lack
the
is a
world,
system,
only
a
your
way to
thoughts
create
about it.
energy and
Once that
momentum
becomes
that carries
clear,
you forward
everything
even
else
on the
becomes
days
peaceful.
you don't feel like
This
it.
is the quiet
This
revolution.
book is that system.
No fireworks.
We live in a
No
world where
applause.
it's easier than ever
Just
to
a
be
gentle
lazy.
shift,
Entertainment
almost
is
invisible
endless.
from the outside,
Distractions
but
are
undeniable
everywhere.
within you.
Every company
And
on
from
the
this
planet
stillness,
is fighting for
a
your
new life
attention
begins.
and winning.
Chapter
So
8,
if you've been
when the
feeling
world
guilty
gets
for
loud
not
again.
stop being
Peace is
lazy.
not the absence of
The
chaos.
Energy and Action
It is
Plan.
the ability to
Written
remain
and
calm in the
published
middle
by
of it.
Imperium Audiobooks.
And just when you think you've mastered
already
your
know
mind,
what it feels
life
like
tests
to
you.
live below your
Not
potential.
gently,
You
not
wake
slowly,
up every day with
all
good
at once.
intentions.
You
Maybe
wake up
even
rushing.
a to-do list.
Someone
maybe
frustrates
even
you.
big dreams.
Plans crumble.
And then watch hours
People
slip away
misunderstand
as you
you.
procrastinate.
And suddenly your
Distract
thoughts,
yourself
once orderly
and
and
tell
quiet,
yourself,
start
I'll
running
start
like
tomorrow.
wild horses
and
again.
when tomorrow comes,
This chapter
the
is
cycle
about
repeats.
those days,
The
the
truth
loud
is,
ones,
you don't
the
lack
messy
ambition.
ones,
You
the
don't
days
lack
where
intelligence.
overthinking knocks on
you
your
don't
door
even
and
lack
expects you to
discipline
let
as
it
much
back
as
in.
you think.
You don't
What
fight
you
it.
lack is a
You face
system,
it.
a way
When
to create
overthinking
energy
tries
and
to
momentum
return,
that
it
carries
begins
you
with one
forward
thought,
even on the days
small,
you don't feel
harmless,
like it.
then
This
another,
book is that system.
and another.
We live
Soon
in a
your
world
mind
where
starts
it's easier
building
than ever
stories.
to be lazy.
What if this goes wrong?
Entertainment is endless.
Why did they say that?
Distractions
What
are
if I
everywhere.
should've?
Every
You
company
feel the
on the
old
planet
patterns
is
calling
fighting
you,
for your
but
attention
this time you
and
notice
winning.
them.
So
And
if you've
noticing
been
is
feeling
half the
guilty for not
victory.
stop
You pause.
being lazy.
You breathe.
The Energy
You
and
ask
Action
yourself
Plan.
softly,
Written
is
and
this thought
published by
helping me or
Imperium
hurting me?
Audiobooks.
Most times
you
the
already
answer
know
is
what
clear.
it feels like
So you
to
let
live
it go.
below your potential.
Not forcefully,
You wake
like
up every
placing a
day
feather
with good
back on the
intentions.
wind.
Maybe
Tools for
even
the
a
storm.
to-do list.
When life
maybe
gets
even
loud,
big
you
dreams.
respond with
And then
simplicity.
watch hours slip away
One
as you
thought at a time.
procrastinate.
Not
Distract
10.
yourself
Not the
and
whole
tell
future.
yourself, I'll
Just
start
one.
tomorrow.
2.
And when
One
tomorrow
task at a
comes,
time.
the cycle repeats.
Not everything today
the
needs
truth
solving
is,
right
you
now.
don't lack
3.
ambition.
One
you don't
breath at a
lack
time.
intelligence.
Breathing
you
is
don't
your
even
anchor
lack
when the mind
discipline as
tries to
much as you
drift
think.
away.
What
You stop
lack
trying
is
to
a
win in
system,
your head and
a way
start
to
living in your
create
body.
energy and
You
momentum
move, you
that
act,
carries
you
you
show
forward
up,
even on the
imperfect
days
but
you
present.
don't feel like it.
That is power.
This book is
You
that
learn to
system.
navigate noise.
We live in a
You
world
don't
where it's
silence the
easier
world.
than ever to be
You
lazy.
grow louder inside.
Entertainment is endless.
Louder in awareness.
Distractions are
Louder in
everywhere.
self-trust.
Every company
Louder
on the
in
planet
calm.
is fighting for
People
your
will still
attention
irritate
and
you.
winning.
Life will
so
still
if you've
confuse
been
you.
feeling guilty for
Uncertainty
not
will never
being
disappear.
lazy.
But
The Energy
overthinking
and
no
Action
longer
Plan.
controls you.
Written and
Bad days
published by
don't erase
Imperium
progress.
Audiobooks.
Setbacks
you
don't
already
define
know
you.
what it feels
You
like
bend,
to
but
live
you do
below
not
your
break.
potential.
Because now
you wake
you know
up every
something
day
you didn't
with good
before.
intentions.
Peace is a
maybe
skill,
even a to-do
and
list.
you are learning it
maybe
beautifully.
even big dreams.
This is growth,
and then watch
not
hours
perfection.
slip away as
Chapter
you procrastinate.
9, learning
Distract
to trust yourself again.
and tell yourself,
There comes a
I'll
moment
start
in everyone's
tomorrow.
journey when
and
the
when
mind
tomorrow
grows
comes,
quieter,
the cycle
but the
repeats.
heart still hesitates.
The truth is, you
You've
don't
reduced
lack ambition.
overthinking, you've
you
calmed
don't
the
lack
storms,
intelligence.
but now you
don't
face
even
something
lack
deeper.
discipline as much
Can you
as you
trust
think.
yourself enough
what
to
you
move
lack
forward?
is a system,
Can you
a way
act
to
without
create
needing
energy
certainty
and
first?
momentum that carries
Overthinking
you
isn't
forward
just
even
noise.
on the days you
It's
don't
protection.
feel like it.
A shield
this book
built
is
from
that
doubt,
system.
fear, and past
we live
mistakes.
in a world where it's
To
easier
stop
than ever to be
overthinking,
lazy.
you must learn something even
Entertainment
harder.
is endless.
You must learn to
Distractions
trust
are
you,
everywhere.
the voice you
Every
ignored for
company on the
years.
planet is fighting
Inside
for
you
your
is a
attention
voice you silenced
and winning.
long ago.
So if
The
you've
one
been
that knew
feeling
what felt
guilty
right
for not
even when
stop
logic
being
disagreed.
lazy.
The one
The
that
Energy
whispered
and
ideas
Action
you were
Plan.
too scared to try.
Written and published
The one
by
that wanted
Imperium
more for you.
Audiobooks.
But every
you
time
already
doubt
know
entered,
what it
that
feels
voice
like to
faded
live
just a
below
little.
your potential.
And now,
you wake
slowly,
up every day
patiently,
with good
it
intentions.
returns.
Maybe
Not
even
loud,
a to-do list.
not demanding,
maybe even big dreams.
just steady like a
and
drumbeat
then watch
beneath
hours
the noise.
slip away as
Try.
you procrastinate.
You're
Distract
capable.
yourself.
This
and
chapter
tell
is about
yourself,
hearing that
I'll
voice
start
again
tomorrow.
and choosing
when
to
tomorrow
believe it.
comes, the
You
cycle
don't need
repeats.
permission to act.
The truth is,
Overthinking
you don't
always
lack
waits
ambition.
for the perfect
You
answer.
don't lack
What
intelligence.
if I fail?
You don't
What
even
if I'm
lack
wrong?
discipline as
What
much
if
as
they
you
judge
think.
me?
What
But
you
here
lack
is a
is a
truth that
system,
frees you.
a way to
You will
create
fail
energy
sometimes.
and momentum
You will be
that
wrong
carries you
sometimes.
forward
You
even
will
on
be
the days
judged
you
no matter
don't
what.
feel like it.
And still,
This book
you
is
will
that
learn,
system.
grow, and rise.
We live in a
You don't
world
need a
where it's
guarantee.
easier than ever
You
to
just
be
need a
lazy.
starting step.
Entertainment
Courage
is
isn't
endless.
clarity.
Distractions
Courage
are
is
everywhere.
acting without it.
Every company
Small
on the planet
decisions
is
rebuild
fighting for your
confidence.
attention and
Self-trust
winning.
isn't created
So if
through
you've been
big
feeling
leaps.
guilty for
It's
not
built through
stop
small
being
proof.
lazy.
You said you would
The
walk,
Energy
and
and
you
Action
walked.
Plan.
You said you'd
Written
finish
and
the
published
task,
by
and you
Imperium
finished.
Audiobooks.
You made a choice
You
and
already know
survived
what
the
it
outcome.
feels like to live
One
below
promise
your
kept to
potential.
yourself is
You
worth
wake
more than
up every
100
day with
ideas
good
never acted
intentions,
on.
maybe
Every
even
time
a
you
to-do
choose
list,
action over
maybe
hesitation,
even
you
big
teach your
dreams,
brain,
and then
I
watch
can rely
hours
on
slip
myself.
away as you
Slowly
procrastinate,
doubts loosen,
distract
fear
yourself,
softens,
and tell yourself,
and thinking
I'll
becomes a
start
guide,
tomorrow,
not a
and
prison.
when tomorrow
Stand
comes,
in your
the
own
cycle
authority.
repeats.
You
The
don't
truth
need
is,
everyone to
you
agree.
don't lack ambition.
You don't need
You don't
validation
lack
to move.
intelligence.
You don't
You
need
don't even
certainty
lack
to begin.
discipline as much
You
as
just
you
need
think.
to become someone
What
you
you
can
lack
trust.
is a system,
Imagine
a
a
way to
life where
create
decisions
energy and
feel lighter,
momentum that
where
carries you
mistakes
forward
become
even
lessons
on the
instead of
days you don't
regrets,
feel like it.
where thinking
This
helps
book
you,
is that
but
system.
never stops you.
We live in a
That life
world
is
where
not
it's
far.
easier than ever
You're
to be
already
lazy.
walking toward it.
Entertainment
You're
is
no
endless.
longer just quieting your mind.
Distractions are everywhere.
You're building a new
Every
one,
company on the
capable,
planet is
steady,
fighting for
confident.
your attention
And with that
winning.
foundation, the
So
final
if you've been
chapter
feeling
waits.
guilty for not
Chapter
stop
10,
being lazy,
Life Without Overthinking.
the Energy and Action
There is
Plan,
a quiet kind of
written
freedom
and
that
published
most
by
people never
Imperium
experience.
Audiobooks.
A
You
life where
already
your
know
mind
what
is
it
not
feels
your
like
enemy,
to live below your
where
potential.
decisions flow instead
You wake
of
up
freeze,
every day with good
where
intentions,
thoughts guide without
maybe
suffocating.
even a to-do list.
It doesn't
maybe
mean the
even
voice
big
of doubt
dreams,
disappears.
and then watch
It
hours
simply
slip
loses
away
its
as you
power over you.
procrastinate.
In this
Distract
final
yourself
chapter, we
and
step
tell
into
yourself,
that freedom,
I'll start
not
tomorrow,
as theory,
and when tomorrow
not as
comes,
motivation,
the cycle repeats.
but as a lived
the
reality.
Truth is, you don't
a life
lack
where
ambition.
thinking is a tool
you
you
don't
use,
lack intelligence.
not a cage you live
You don't
in.
even lack
You wake up
discipline as
one
much as
morning
you
and
think.
everything feels
What
different.
you lack is a system,
Not because the
a way
world
to
changed,
create
but
energy
because
and
you did.
momentum that
The
carries
racing
you forward
thoughts,
even
the
on the
endless
days you don't
second-guessing,
feel
the
like
mental
it.
spirals,
This book is
they
that
no longer
system.
control the pace
We
of
live
your
in a
day.
world where it's
You
easier
move with
than ever to be
intention
lazy.
instead of hesitation.
Entertainment is
You
endless.
breathe without
Distractions
pressure.
are everywhere.
You choose without
Every
fear,
company on
searching
the
for
planet
reasons
is
to
fighting
stop
for
you.
your attention
What once
and
consumed
winning.
you now
So
feels
if you've
distant,
been feeling guilty
like an
for
echo
not
fading
stop
in a large
being
room.
lazy.
Not
The
gone,
Energy
just
and
powerless.
Action Plan,
The shift
written
happens
and published
slowly,
by
then all
Imperium
at once.
Audiobooks.
It starts
You
subtly.
already know what
You
it
choose
feels
something
like to live
without
below
asking
your
5
potential.
opinions.
You wake
You
up
follow
every
an
day
impulse
with good
without
intentions,
drowning in what
maybe
ifs.
even a to-do list.
You speak without
maybe even
rehearsing
big dreams,
every possible
and
version.
then watch hours
And
slip
nothing
away
bad
as you
happens.
procrastinate.
The world does not
Distract yourself
collapse.
and tell
You are
yourself,
not humiliated.
I'll start tomorrow.
Life continues
and when tomorrow
smoothly,
comes, the cycle
gently.
repeats.
Then a day
The truth
arrives
is,
when you
don't
notice you no
lack
longer
ambition.
chase certainty.
You don't lack
You
intelligence.
simply act.
You don't
You
even
try.
lack discipline
You live.
as much as you think.
Overthinking becomes
What you lack is a
background noise,
system,
not the
a way
main
to
voice.
create energy and
All
momentum
because you finally
that carries
understood
you forward
something.
even on the
A
days you
decision
don't
made
feel
and
like
lived
it.
through is always
This
better
book
than
is
a
that
decision
system.
never made.
We live in a
You now
world
use
where it's
thoughts
easier
instead of
than ever
fighting
to be
them.
lazy.
Thoughts used to
Entertainment
swarm
is
you like
endless.
mosquitoes,
Distractions are
uncontrolled,
everywhere. Every
overwhelming.
company on the
Now
planet
you
is
choose
fighting
which
for
ones
your
matter.
attention and
A
winning.
thought arrives,
So
and
if you've
instead
been
of
feeling
believing it
guilty for not
automatically,
stop
you
being
observe
lazy.
it like weather.
The Energy
Is
and
this
Action
helpful?
Plan,
Is this
written
true?
and published
Is
by
this mine to
Imperium
carry?
Audiobooks.
If not, you
You
let it
already
pass.
know what it feels
You've
like to
learned that
live
you are
below
not
your
required to
potential.
respond to
You
every
wake up
thought that
every day
appears.
with good intentions.
Not every idea
maybe even a
deserves
to-do
attention.
list. Maybe
Not
even
every
big
fear
dreams,
is a warning.
and then watch
Not every
hours
doubt
slip
is a
away
truth.
as you
You
procrastinate.
no longer drown
Distract
in mental
yourself
traffic.
and tell yourself,
You direct it.
I'll start
That
tomorrow.
is control.
And when
That is
tomorrow
power.
comes, the cycle
You
repeats.
replace rumination
The
with
truth
motion.
is, you don't
When
lack
confusion
ambition.
appears,
you
you no
don't lack
longer freeze.
intelligence.
You
You
move,
don't even lack
not
discipline as
blindly,
much
but
as you
confidently.
think. What you
You
lack
take
is a
small
system,
actions
a way
instead
to
of waiting
create
for
energy
perfect
and
clarity.
momentum that
You
carries
test
you forward
reality
even
instead
on
of
the days
imagining
you don't
worst
feel like
outcomes.
it. This
You learn
book is
through
that
doing
system.
instead of thinking
We live in
endlessly
a world
about
where
doing.
it's easier than
Action
ever
has
to be
become
lazy.
your antidote.
Entertainment
The
is
more you
endless.
move, the less room your
Distractions are
mind has to
everywhere.
spiral.
Every company on
Life
the planet
rewards
is
motion,
fighting for your
not
attention
hesitation.
and winning.
And now you
so
move.
if you've been feeling
Emotion
guilty
no
for
longer
not
hijacks
stop
you.
being lazy.
Overthinkers
The
often
Energy
feel
and
deeply,
Action Plan,
sometimes too
written
deeply.
and published by
You used to
Imperium
carry every
Audiobooks.
comment like a weight.
You already know
Every
what it
silence
feels like
felt
to
like
live below
rejection.
your potential.
Every
You wake
uncertainty
up
felt
every
like
day
danger.
with good intentions.
But now you
maybe
breathe
even
first.
a to-do list.
You step back.
Maybe even
You
big
respond,
dreams,
not
and
react.
then watch hours
You
slip
learn the
away
rhythm
as
of
you
internal
procrastinate.
peace.
Distract
Pause.
yourself
Observe.
and tell
Choose.
yourself,
You
I'll
no
start
longer let
tomorrow.
emotions
And
drag
when
you
tomorrow
into
comes,
imaginary
the cycle
futures or
repeats.
replay past
The truth
hurts
is,
until they
you don't
bruise.
lack ambition.
You own your
You
state,
don't lack
your energy, your
intelligence.
inner world.
You don't don't even lack
That is
discipline
emotional
as much as you
maturity.
think.
That is
What you lack is a
self-mastery.
system,
You
a way
finally
to
trust
create
yourself.
energy and momentum
This is the
that
milestone
carries you forward
overthinkers
even
rarely
on the
reach,
days you don't
but you
feel
did.
like it.
You
This
trust
book
your
is that
voice,
system.
your timing,
We live in a
your
world where
judgment.
it's easier than ever
Not
to be
because
lazy.
you are always right,
Entertainment
but
is endless.
because you are no longer afraid of
Distractions are
being
everywhere.
wrong.
Every
You can
company
handle
on the
outcomes.
planet is fighting
You
for
can
your
face
attention
mistakes.
and winning.
You can stand
So
up
if you've
again.
been feeling guilty for
Self-trust
not,
is not
stop
perfection.
being lazy.
It is
The
resilience.
Energy and Action
And
Plan.
resilience frees
Written
you.
and published
What
by
life feels like
Imperium
now.
Audiobooks.
You notice
You
beauty
already
again,
know what it feels
small,
like to live
unforced
below
beauty.
your potential.
The warmth
You
of
wake up
sunlight
every
on
day
your
with
skin
good
instead
intentions,
of the heaviness of
maybe
regret.
even a to-do list,
The sound of
maybe
quiet
even
instead
big
of the
dreams,
roar of thoughts.
and then watch
The
hours
taste
slip
of a
away
moment
as you
because you're
procrastinate,
finally in it, not
distract
thinking
yourself,
behind it.
and tell yourself,
You take
I'll
opportunities
start
instead
tomorrow,
of watching them
and when
pass.
tomorrow comes,
You
the cycle
express love
repeats.
instead of
The
rehearsing
truth
it
is,
silently.
you don't lack
You
ambition.
start things
You
before
don't lack
confidence
intelligence.
appears.
You
Knowing
don't even lack
confidence is
discipline
built
as
through
much as you
repetition,
think.
not before
What
it.
you lack is a
You live
system, a
fully,
way to create
calmly,
energy and momentum
present.
that
You aren't
carries you
thoughtless,
forward
you're
even
free.
on the days
You
you don't
haven't
feel
stopped
like
thinking.
it. This
You've
book is
stopped
that
overthinking.
system. We
You
live in a
still
world
reflect.
where it's easier
You
than
still
ever to be
analyze.
lazy.
You still care.
Entertainment is endless.
But now thinking is like a
Distractions are
compass,
everywhere.
not a maze.
Every company
Like
on
a
the planet is
flashlight, not a
fighting for your
floodlight
attention
blinding you.
and winning.
You've learned to
So
hold
if you've been
thoughts
feeling
lightly,
guilty for
to
not
breathe through
stop being
uncertainty,
lazy.
to trust
The
your
Energy and
internal
Action
voice
Plan,
over external
written
approval.
and published by
You have stepped
Imperium
out of your own
Audiobooks.
way.
You
That is
already know what
liberation.
it feels like
A
to
final
live below
truth
your
for the rest
potential.
of your life.
You wake up
You will
every
still
day
have
with good
moments when your
intentions,
mind tries to
maybe even
spiral.
a to-do list,
You will still
maybe
meet
even
fear,
big
doubt,
dreams,
discomfort.
and then watch
But
hours
now
slip
you know
away
what
as
to
you
do.
procrastinate,
You pause.
distract
You
yourself,
breathe.
and tell
You
yourself,
choose.
I'll start
And every
tomorrow.
time you choose
And when
presence
tomorrow
over panic,
comes, the cycle
clarity
repeats.
over chaos,
The truth is, you
action
don't
over
lack ambition.
paralysis,
You don't
you
lack
reinforce the
intelligence.
truth you now
don't
carry.
even lack discipline
You are
as much as
stronger
you
than
think.
the noise in your
What
mind.
you lack is a
This
system,
is the life
a way
after
to create
overthinking.
energy and
Not
momentum
perfect,
that carries
but
you
peaceful.
forward even
Not
on the days
effortless,
you
but
don't feel
empowered.
like it.
Not
This
free
book
of
is
thought,
that system.
but free within thought.
We live in a world
And from
where
this
it's
point
easier
forward,
than ever to be lazy.
thinking is your tool,
Entertainment is
not
endless.
your master.
Distractions
The spiral
are everywhere.
ends here.
Every
Your life
company on the
begins
planet
here.
is fighting for
Chapter
your attention
11,
and
living
winning.
in the flow state.
So if you've been feeling
Imagine
guilty
moving
for not
through life like
stop
water,
being lazy.
fluid, calm,
The Energy and
unforced.
Action Plan.
No rushing.
Written and
No
published
defending.
by Imperium
No
Audiobooks.
internal war between
You
what you
already
feel
know
and what you
it
think.
feels like to live
Just
below
steady
your
movement,
potential.
grounded
You
presence,
wake up every day
effortless
with
clarity.
good intentions.
This is
maybe
where you
even a
arrive when
to-do list,
overthinking dissolves.
Maybe even big dreams.
Not in a dramatic
and then watch
explosion
hours
of
slip away
confidence,
as you
but in a
procrastinate,
quiet unfolding
distract
of alignment.
yourself, and tell
Life
yourself,
starts to flow.
I'll start tomorrow.
Not because
and
everything
when
becomes
tomorrow
easy,
comes, the
but
cycle
because you
repeats.
stop fighting
The
reality
truth
with
is,
your mind.
You don't lack
You are
ambition.
no longer tangled
you
in
don't
what
lack
people
intelligence.
think.
You
no
don't
longer
even lack
replay
discipline as much
conversations
as you
until they
think.
become distorted.
What you lack is a
You
system,
no longer
a
pause
way
your
to
entire
create
life
energy
waiting
and
for
momentum
certainty that doesn't
carries
exist.
you forward
You
even on
breathe.
the days you
You
don't
act.
feel like it.
You adjust.
This book is that
and you
system.
stay connected to
We
yourself
live in a
while the world
where
moves
it's
around
easier
you.
than ever to be
You wake
lazy.
up one morning and
Entertainment
notice something
is
subtle
endless.
but profound.
Distractions are
There is
everywhere.
space inside
Every
your head
company
now.
on the planet
Not
is
silence,
fighting
just
for your
space.
attention
Thoughts
and
come,
winning.
but they don't
So
stay
if
long.
you've been feeling guilty
Worries
for
appear,
not
but they don't
stop
build
being
nests.
lazy.
Emotions
The Energy
rise,
and
but they
Action
pass
Plan.
like waves instead
Written
of
and
drowning
published
you.
by Imperium
This is peace,
Audiobooks.
not the
You
kind that
already know
requires
what it
everything
feels
to be
like to live
perfect,
below your
but the
potential.
kind that makes you
wake up
unshakable
every day
even
with
when
good
nothing is
intentions,
perfect.
Maybe
You have
even a
learned
to-do
presence.
list. Maybe
And presence
even
is
big
the
dreams,
antidote to
and then
overthinking.
watch hours
Life
slip away
becomes
as
lighter.
you procrastinate.
You start doing
Distract
things
yourself
immediately instead
and
of
tell
planning
yourself,
them endlessly.
I'll start tomorrow.
Something needs to be
and when
said, you
tomorrow
say it.
comes, the
If
cycle
something
repeats.
needs to be done, you
the
do
truth
it.
is, you
If a
don't
door
lack
opens,
ambition.
you walk through it.
You don't lack
You don't
intelligence.
wait for motivation,
You don't
you
even
generate
lack
momentum.
discipline as much as
You
you
don't
think.
wait for clarity,
What you lack
you
is
create
a system,
clarity through
a way
movement.
to create energy
You act,
and momentum
and because you act,
that carries
life
you
responds.
forward even on the
Doors
days
that
you
once
don't
looked
feel
locked
like
begin
it.
to open.
This book is that
Opportunities
system.
appear as if
We
they
live
were
in a
waiting
world
for
where
you.
it's easier
People
than ever
take
to
you
be
seriously
lazy.
because you take action
Entertainment is
instead of
endless.
debating action in your
Distractions
head.
are everywhere.
And the more you
Every
move,
company
the
on
less
the
your
planet
mind
is
spirals.
fighting for your attention
Overthinking cannot
and winning.
survive inside
So
a life
if you've been
lived
feeling
boldly.
guilty for not
You begin
stop
trusting
being
timing.
lazy.
Before
The
you
Energy
forced
and Action
everything,
Plan.
conversations,
Written and
plans,
published
decisions.
by Imperium Audiobooks.
You wanted guarantees before you
already
tried.
know what it feels
You wanted
like
a map
to live
of life
below your
before taking
potential.
a single step.
You wake up every
Now
day
you
with good
understand something
intentions,
deeper.
maybe even
Growth
a
is
to-do
not
list,
linear.
maybe
Progress
even
is
big
not
dreams,
loud.
and then
Healing
watch
is not
hours
visible
slip
until
away
one
as
day
you
you realize you are
procrastinate.
not who you used to
Distract
be.
yourself
You no
and tell
longer need to
yourself,
control
I'll
outcomes.
start tomorrow.
You let
And when
moments
tomorrow
unfold.
comes, the
And with
cycle
that trust
repeats.
comes freedom.
The truth is,
The kind
you
nothing
don't lack
external can
ambition,
give or take
you
away.
don't lack
You
intelligence,
build habits
you
instead
don't
of
even
mental
lack
resistance.
discipline as much as
Your
you
life
think.
is no longer
What you
clogged
lack
by
is a
hesitation.
system, a way
You
to
eat,
create
you work,
energy
you
and
rest, you
momentum
move,
that
not
carries
because
you
you
forward
overthink
even
every
on the
choice,
days you don't
but
feel
because
like
your values
it.
guide
This
you
book
more
is
than your
that
emotions
system.
do.
We
You
live
don't
in a
wait to
world
feel
where
like
it's
it.
easier than
Your
ever to be
identity
lazy.
leads your behavior now.
Entertainment is endless.
You became a person who
Distractions
completes
are
things.
everywhere.
not a
Every
person who
company on
thinks
the
about
planet is
completing
fighting
things.
for your attention
And that identity
winning.
shift removes
So if you've
thousands
been
of
feeling
micro
guilty
decisions
for
per
not
day.
stop
The
being
same
lazy.
micro decisions
The
that used to
Energy and
feed your
Action
anxiety.
Plan.
You don't
Written and
spiral when
published
things
by
go
Imperium
wrong.
Audiobooks.
You adjust.
You already
That is
know what
mastery.
it feels like
Conversations
to live below
become
your potential.
easier. You no
wake up
longer
every
enter
day with good
interactions needing to
intentions,
perform
maybe
perfectly.
even a to-do list,
You don't rehearse
maybe
every
even
word,
big dreams,
every tone,
and then
every
watch
outcome.
hours slip away
You
as
speak
you
naturally.
procrastinate,
You listen
distract
fully.
yourself,
You
and
respond
tell yourself,
instead of mentally
I'll start
predicting.
tomorrow.
Because
and
when
when
you're
tomorrow
present, you
comes,
don't
the
need
cycle
scripts.
repeats.
Silence
the
is
truth
no
is,
longer awkward.
you don't lack
You
ambition.
don't analyze
You don't
every
lack
reaction.
intelligence.
You don't
You
leave
don't even
replaying
lack
everything you
discipline
said.
as much as you
You
think.
know who you are.
What you lack
So
is
you
a
don't
system,
need to seek
a way to
validation
create
inside other
energy and
people's
momentum
eyes.
that carries
Confidence
you
isn't
forward
loud.
even on the days
It's
you
calm.
don't feel like
You stop
it.
taking
This
things
book
personally.
is that system.
People are no
We
longer
live in a
emotional
world where
weather
it's easier
controlling
than
your
ever to be
internal
lazy.
sky. Someone is
Entertainment
short-tempered,
endless.
you remain grounded.
Distractions are everywhere.
Someone ignores you,
Every
you don't
company
assume
on the
it's your
planet
fault.
is fighting for
Someone
your attention
disagrees, you don't
and winning.
collapse internally.
So if you've been
You
feeling
understand
guilty
now
for
that
not
most reactions are
stop being
projections
lazy.
of other
The
people's
Energy
inner
and
battles.
Action Plan.
And so instead
Written
of taking
and
things
published
as
by
attacks,
Imperium
you see them
Audiobooks.
as information.
You already know
Information
what it
isn't
feels like to
threatening.
live below your
It's
potential.
neutral. And
You wake up
neutrality
every
gives you
day
power.
with good intentions,
Not power to
maybe
dominate,
even a to-do
but
list,
power to stay
maybe
yourself.
even big dreams,
Your world
and then
expands
watch
when your mind
hours slip
stops
away
shrinking
as you
it.
procrastinate.
You try new things
Distract
simply because you
yourself
can.
and tell
You
yourself,
fail and don't
I'll
fear
start
it.
tomorrow.
You succeed
when
and don't
tomorrow comes,
over-celebrate
the
it.
cycle repeats.
You live in balance.
The truth is,
You take
you don't lack
spontaneous trips.
ambition.
You
don't
start
lack
delayed
intelligence.
dreams.
You
talk
don't
to
even lack
strangers.
discipline as
You
much
learn
as you
skills
think.
you once avoided.
What you lack is a
You no
system,
longer
a way
overplan
to
life.
create
You
energy and
experience
momentum
it.
that carries
begin to feel
forward
alive,
even
not
on the
just
days you
awake.
don't feel like
Freedom
it.
was never
This
the
book
absence
is
of
that
thought.
system.
It was
We
the
live in a
absence of
world where
imprisonment
it's
by
easier
thought.
than ever to be
You
lazy.
have reached a place where your mind is not a
endless.
battlefield,
Distractions
but a
are
companion
everywhere.
you walk with.
Every company
You know
on the
how to
planet
sit
is
with
fighting for
discomfort.
your attention
You know how to
and
break
winning.
rumination
So
with
if you've
movement.
been feeling guilty
You know how
for
to
not
ground yourself
stop
when
being
emotions
lazy.
rise.
The
You don't
Energy and
escape
Action
thoughts.
Plan.
You guide them.
Written and published
This is
by
what it means
Imperium
to stop
Audiobooks.
overthinking.
You already
Not to
know
think
what
less,
it feels like
but
to
to
live
think
below
better.
your potential.
And so chapter
You wake
11
up
becomes
every
a
day with
declaration
good
of the life you
intentions,
now choose
maybe
to live.
even a to-do
A
list,
life of flow
maybe
instead
even
of friction.
big dreams,
Movement
and then
instead
watch
of
hours
paralysis.
slip away as you
Presence instead
procrastinate.
of panic.
Distract yourself
Self-trust
and
instead
tell
of endless
yourself,
doubt.
I'll start
A life
tomorrow.
where thoughts are
and
no
when
longer
tomorrow
chains,
comes, the
but
cycle
wings.
repeats.
You have
The
become
truth
someone
is,
new.
you don't lack
Not
ambition.
overnight.
You don't
Not
lack
by force,
intelligence.
but
You
through
don't even
awareness,
lack discipline
patience,
as
and
much as you
courage.
think.
This is
What you
life
lack
without
is a system,
overthinking.
a way to
Clear,
create
spacious,
energy and
intentional.
momentum that
You are
carries
already
you
living
forward
it.
even on the
All
days
that
you don't
remains is
feel
to
like
continue.
it. This
Because
book
once
is
you
that
have tasted
system.
peace,
We live in
you
a
will
world
never
where it's
willingly
easier
return
than
to war
ever to
with
be
your own
lazy.
mind.
Entertainment
Chapter 12,
is endless.
when your mind becomes
Distractions
your
are
power.
everywhere.
There
Every
comes a
company
moment,
on the planet
subtle,
is fighting for
nearly
your
invisible,
attention
where
and
you
winning.
realize something
So
profound.
if you've been feeling guilty
You are no
for
longer
not
surviving your
being
thoughts.
lazy.
You are using
The
them.
Energy and Action
They once
Plan.
spun like storms,
Written and published by
unpredictable,
Imperium
consuming everything.
Audiobooks.
Now
You
they move
already
like
know what
wind,
it feels
guiding
like to live
sails
below
instead
your
of capsizing
potential.
ships.
You wake up every
Chapter
day
12
with
is
good
about that
intentions,
transformation.
maybe even a
The
to-do
moment
list,
when your mind,
maybe
once
even
a
big
prison,
dreams,
becomes the
and
most
then watch
powerful
hours
instrument
slip
you
away
own.
as you
Not
procrastinate.
by force,
Distract
not
yourself
by
and
suppression,
tell yourself,
but by
I'll
direction.
start tomorrow.
Because you
and
learn
when
something
tomorrow
most
comes,
people
the
never
cycle
learn.
repeats.
Your thoughts
The
are
truth
commands
is,
only
you
when
don't
you obey
lack
them.
ambition.
When you
You
stop
don't lack
reacting to every
intelligence.
impulse,
You don't even
every
lack
fear,
discipline as
every
much as you
imagined
think.
disaster.
What you lack
Your
is
mind
a system,
transforms from
a way
tyrant
to create
ally.
energy and
And that
momentum
shift is the
that carries
beginning
you
of mental
forward
sovereignty.
even on the days you
You
don't
wake
feel
one morning
like
and
it.
decisions
This
feel
book
lighter.
is that system.
Not because you have
We live
fewer
in a world
choices,
where it's
but
easier than
because
ever
you no
to be
longer
lazy.
stand at every crossroads
Entertainment is
analyzing
endless.
paths until the
Distractions
future
are
collapses
everywhere.
into
Every
anxiety.
company on the
You
planet
choose.
is fighting for
You don't
your
need
attention
permission,
and winning.
reassurance, or
So if
evidence
you've
that
been
everything
feeling
will
guilty
work
for not
perfectly.
stop being
Perfection is
lazy.
no longer your goal.
The Energy and Action
Movement is.
Plan.
You've
Written
learned
and
that thinking
published
can
by
happen
Imperium
alongside doing,
Audiobooks.
instead
You
of
already
before
know
doing.
what it feels
And
like
suddenly
to live
life
below your
opens.
potential.
What freedom
You
feels
wake up
like.
every day
You
with good
notice yourself yourself
intentions,
laughing more
maybe even a to-do
naturally
list,
without checking
maybe
how it
even
sounds.
big dreams,
You speak
and then
before
watch
your brain
hours
builds
slip
20
away as you
possible outcomes.
procrastinate,
You try
distract
something
yourself,
new without
and
the
tell
internal
yourself,
courtroom
"I'll
debating your
start
worthiness.
tomorrow," And when
feel
tomorrow
strange at
comes,
first,
the cycle
foreign
repeats.
like a new language,
The truth is, you don't
disturbingly
lack
calm,
ambition.
because
you
you
don't
spent
lack
years believing
intelligence.
tension meant
You don't
effort,
even lack
that
discipline
stress
as much
meant
as you
responsibility,
think. What you lack
that
is a
thinking more
system,
meant
a
progress.
way to create
But now
energy
you know,
and momentum
more
that
thinking is
carries
not
you
more
forward
clarity.
even on the days
More
you don't
thinking is
feel
often
like
more
it.
confusion.
This book is that
True
system.
clarity is born
We
from
live
presence,
in a world where it's
and
easier
presence
than ever
isn't
to be
loud.
lazy.
It's silent.
Entertainment is
You
endless.
no longer fear
Distractions
stillness.
are everywhere.
Stillness used to
Every
scare
company
you.
on the planet
Silence
is
gave your
fighting for your
thoughts too much
attention
room to grow
and
teeth.
winning.
The
So if
quiet
you've been
hours of
feeling
night
guilty
felt
for
like a
not
battlefield.
stop being lazy,
But now stillness
the
feels like a
Energy and
homecoming.
Action Plan,
You sit with
written
yourself
and
without
published
needing
by
distraction.
Imperium Audiobooks.
Your mind no
You
longer
already
feels
know
like a
what it
dangerous
feels
place
like
to
to
be
live
alone
below
in.
your potential.
Feels like a space
You
you've
wake up
cleaned,
every day with
organized,
good
and claimed.
intentions.
You
Maybe
don't run
even
from
a
your
to-do
thoughts
list,
anymore.
maybe
You
even
meet
big
them with
dreams,
curiosity.
and then watch
Why does
hours
this worry
slip
show
away
up?
as you
What
procrastinate.
is it trying to
Distract
protect?
yourself
Is the
and
danger
tell
real
yourself,
or imagined?
I'll start tomorrow.
Questions replace
and when
spirals.
tomorrow comes, the
Understanding
cycle repeats.
replaces fear.
The truth is,
You don't drown in
lack
thoughts.
ambition.
You swim
you
through
don't
them
lack
with strength you
intelligence.
never knew you had.
don't even lack
You become
discipline as much
emotionally
as you
untouchable.
think. What you
Not
lack
numb,
is a system,
not
a way to
detached,
create
just
energy and
centered.
momentum
Someone
that carries you
criticizes you
forward
and you
even
feel
on
it,
the days
but
you
it
don't
doesn't
feel
define
like
you.
it. This
Someone
book is that
misunderstands
system.
you and you
We live in a
explain
world
instead of
where it's easier
internalizing.
than ever to be lazy.
Someone disrespects you and you
Entertainment is
respond
endless.
with boundaries, not
Distractions
bitterness.
are everywhere.
You don't
Every
break.
company on the
You
planet
bend.
is fighting
Your
for your
peace is
attention
no longer
and
fragile,
winning.
because
So
it
if
no
you've been
longer
feeling
depends on
guilty for
external
not
behavior.
stop being lazy.
Peace comes from inner
the
structure,
Energy and Action Plan,
from the way you interpret,
written and
process,
published
and
by
release.
Imperium Audiobooks.
You no longer take everything
you already
personally.
know what it feels
You
like
don't
to
assume
live below
worst-case
your potential.
outcomes.
You
don't
wake up
replay
every day
mistakes
with
like
good
punishment.
intentions,
You
maybe
forgive
even
yourself
a to-do
faster.
list, maybe
You
even
move
big
forward
dreams,
quicker.
and then
You
watch
rest deeper.
hours slip away
This
as
is
you
evolution,
procrastinate.
not in your
Distract
life,
yourself
but in your mind.
and tell yourself,
You no longer
I'll
need to
start
control
tomorrow.
everything.
And when
This
tomorrow
may be the
comes,
most
the
powerful
cycle
milestone
repeats.
of all.
The truth
You
is,
stop
you don't lack
micromanaging the
ambition.
future.
You don't
You
lack
stop scripting
intelligence.
conversations
you
in
don't even
advance.
lack discipline
You
as
stop
much as you
preparing
think.
for imaginary
What you lack is a
catastrophes.
system, a
Because
way
you
to
trust
create
your
energy
ability
and
to handle
momentum
life when
that
it
carries
arrives.
you forward
Not
even on the days
hypothetically,
you don't feel
genuinely.
like it.
You no
This
longer
book is
prepare
that
for
system.
fire that may never
We
burn.
live in a world where
You conserve
it's easier
energy
than ever
for
to be
reality
lazy.
instead of simulation.
Entertainment is endless.
Control is replaced with
Distractions are
confidence.
everywhere. Every
Fear with
company on the
readiness.
planet is
Prediction
fighting for
with
your
presence.
attention and
You
winning.
breathe.
So
You
if you've been
respond.
feeling guilty
You
for not
adapt.
stop
And
being
weirdly,
lazy,
when you stop trying to
the Energy
control
and
everything,
Action Plan,
more things
written
begin
and
to fall
published
into
by
place.
Imperium Audiobooks.
Not by magic,
You
but
already
because
know
you
what it
finally
feels
got out
like
of your
to
own
live
way.
below your
Thought
potential.
becomes fuel,
You
not
wake
friction.
up every day with
You
good
think with
intentions,
clarity, not chaos.
maybe even a to-do
You
list,
decide with
maybe
direction,
even
not
big
doubt.
dreams,
Your
and
mind
then watch
becomes a
hours
workshop
slip
instead
away
of a
as you
whirlpool.
procrastinate.
Ideas
Distract
turn into
yourself
action.
and tell
Reflection
yourself,
turns
I'll
into
start
wisdom.
tomorrow.
Awareness
and when
turns
tomorrow
into
comes,
strength.
the cycle
You no
repeats.
longer
The
overanalyze
truth
life.
is, you don't
You
lack
participate
ambition.
in it.
You don't
You
lack
stopped
intelligence.
arguing with reality,
You don't even lack
and instead
discipline
you
as
shape
much
your
as you
future
think.
with deliberate
What
steps.
you lack is a system,
Every thought
a way
becomes
to
energy
create
you can
energy
channel.
and momentum
Every
that
emotion
carries
becomes
you
a
forward
signal you
even
can
on the
interpret.
days you don't feel
Every
like
experience
it.
becomes
This
a
book
lesson
is
you
that
can
system.
use. This
We
is
live
what
in a
mastery
world where
feels
it's
like.
easier than ever
You
to
guide
be
your
lazy.
mind. It does not
Entertainment
drag
is
you.
endless.
You return to
Distractions
yourself,
are everywhere.
the you before
Every
fear.
company on the planet
Think
is
back to
fighting
when you
for
were
your
young,
attention
before
and
anxiety,
winning.
before
So if you've been
insecurity,
feeling
before the
guilty
world
for
taught
not
you to doubt
stop
your own
being
voice.
lazy,
You
the
explored
Energy and
without
Action
hesitation.
Plan,
You
written and
spoke without
published by
rehearsing.
Imperium Audiobooks.
You moved without fearing
You
how it
already
looked.
know what it
That
feels
version
like
of
to
you
live
never
below
died.
your potential.
They were simply
You wake
buried
up
under
every day
layers
with
of
good
caution and
intentions,
conditioning.
maybe even
Now
a
you
to-do
uncover
list,
them.
maybe
You meet
even
them
big
again.
dreams,
You
and
merge.
then watch hours
Maturity
slip
gives
away
you
as you
awareness.
procrastinate.
Childlike spirit
Distract
gives you
yourself
freedom.
and tell
Together
yourself,
they
I'll
create
start
unshakable
tomorrow.
presence.
And when tomorrow
You become
comes,
someone
the cycle
rare,
repeats.
someone whole.
The truth is,
Life
you
without
don't lack
overthinking
ambition.
is not thoughtless.
You don't lack
It is
intelligence.
thoughtful,
You don't
purposeful,
even lack discipline as
intentional.
much as you think.
You don't stop
what
thinking.
you lack is
You
a
elevate
system,
thought.
a way to
You
create
don't escape
energy and
emotion.
momentum
You anchor
that
it.
carries you
You don't
forward
kill
even on the
uncertainty. days you don't feel like it. And through acceptance, peace arrives.
We
Not
live in a world
occasionally,
where it's easier than ever to be lazy.
You live with lightness
Entertainment
now.
is endless.
You act with less
Distractions
friction.
are everywhere.
You trust the
Every
moment
company
more than the
on
mind's
planet
noise.
is fighting for
Your
your
thoughts
attention
no longer
and
imprison
winning.
you.
So
They
if
serve
you've
you.
been feeling guilty
And that is
for
the
not
highest form
stop
of mental
being
power.
lazy.
Chapter
The
12
Energy
is
in
not
Action
the end.
Plan.
It is the
Written and
realization
published
that the
by
battle is
Imperium
already won.
Audiobooks.
You no longer
already
fight
know
your
what
mind.
it feels like to
You
live
work with
below
it.
your potential.
You lead it.
You
You
wake
have
up
stepped
every day
into a
with
level
good
of emotional
intentions,
clarity
maybe even a
most
to-do
people
list,
spend a lifetime
maybe
searching
even big
for.
dreams,
No
and then
chains,
watch hours
no
slip away
spirals,
as you
no
procrastinate,
mental warfare,
distract
just
yourself,
awareness,
and tell
just
yourself,
presence,
I'll start
just
tomorrow.
strength.
And when
The
tomorrow
spiral is
comes, the
silent now.
cycle repeats.
All you hear is
The
forward
truth is,
motion.
you don't lack
Chapter
ambition.
13.
You
A
don't lack
mind at peace
intelligence.
becomes a life
You
in
don't
motion.
even lack
You've
discipline
walked
as
a
much
long
as you
road
think.
to arrive here.
What you lack is
Through
a
the
system,
storms of doubt,
a way to
through the
create
tangled
energy and
roots of
momentum
overthinking,
that carries
through
you
the nights
forward
where your
even on
mind
the
spun
days
like
you don't
machinery
feel
with
like
no
it.
off switch.
This book is
You have
that
faced
system.
yourself,
We
not
live in
by
a world
silencing
where
your
it's easier
thoughts,
than ever
but
to
by
be
meeting
lazy.
them with courage,
Entertainment
awareness,
is
and
endless.
understanding.
Distractions
This
are
final
everywhere.
chapter is
Every
not an
company
ending.
on the planet
It is a
fighting
doorway,
for your
a
attention
new life
and winning.
built on clarity
So if you've
instead
been
of
feeling
chaos,
guilty for
a
not
new
stop
identity
being
shaped from
lazy.
presence rather
The
than
Energy and
panic,
Action Plan.
a new version of
Written
you,
and published
one that
by
thinks,
Imperium
feels,
Audiobooks.
decides, and moves
You
with
already
ease.
know what it
You do not
feels like
escape
to
your
live
mind.
below your
You
potential.
master it.
You
And
wake up
mastery
every
is
day
quiet.
with good intentions.
It is powerful.
Maybe even
It
a
is
to-do
earned.
list.
You wake
maybe
up
even
differently
big
now.
dreams.
There is
and
no
then
heavy
watch
tension
hours
pressing
slip away
against your
as you
ribs.
procrastinate.
No
Distract
avalanche of what ifs
yourself
waiting for
and
you
tell
before your
yourself,
first sip
I'll
of
start
water.
tomorrow.
No
And when
internal
tomorrow
interrogation
comes,
about
the
what the
cycle
world
repeats.
expects from you
The
today.
truth is, you
Instead,
don't
you
lack
breathe.
ambition.
You rise
you
in
don't
your
lack
own rhythm.
intelligence.
You step
you
into
don't
the
even
day,
lack discipline
not with
as much as
caution,
you
but
think.
with confidence.
What you lack
You
is a
move
system,
not because
a way
fear
to
pushes
create
you, but
energy
because
and
purpose
momentum
pulls you.
that carries
This
you
is what
forward
the end of
even on the
overthinking
days you
feels
don't
like.
feel like it.
Not numbness,
This book is that
not
system.
a blank mind,
We live in
but
a
a
world
soft
where
mind,
it's easier
strong,
than ever to be
open,
lazy.
unafraid.
Entertainment
Thoughts
is
come
endless.
like ripples on a lake.
Distractions are everywhere.
They do not shake you.
Every company
They do
on the
not
planet
drown you.
is fighting for
They
your
move across
attention
the surface
and winning.
fade,
So if
leaving
you've been
clarity
feeling
behind.
guilty for not
You
stop
navigate
being
life not
lazy.
from panic, but
the
from
Energy
presence.
and Action Plan.
You speak without
Written
rehearsing.
and published by
You
Imperium
love without fearing
Audiobooks.
loss.
You already
decide
know what
without
it feels
begging the
like to
future
live
for
below your
reassurance.
potential.
You trust
You
yourself
wake up every day
fully,
with good
finally.
intentions.
You begin
maybe
living
even
instead
a
of
to-do
predicting.
list. Maybe
You
even
no
big
longer
dreams.
delay life
and
waiting
then
for
watch
perfect
hours
conditions.
slip away as you
You no
procrastinate.
longer pause dreams
Distract
because of
yourself
imagined outcomes.
and tell yourself,
You no
I'll
longer
start
feed
tomorrow.
anxiety with
And when
endless
tomorrow
mental
comes,
rehearsals
the
of
cycle
failure.
repeats.
You
The
choose
truth
movement
is,
over
you
hesitation.
don't lack ambition.
You choose
don't
reality
lack
over
intelligence.
imagination.
You don't even
You
lack
choose
discipline
growth
as
over
much as you
comfort.
think.
Where there
What
used
you
to be
lack is a
spirals,
system,
now there is
a way to
direction.
create
Where
energy
there
and
used to be
momentum
doubt, now
that
there is
carries you
curiosity.
forward even on the
Where there
days
used
you
to be
don't
fear,
feel like
now there
it.
is courage,
This book is
gentle,
that system.
consistent, yours.
We live in a world where it's
Overthinking once
easier
stole
than
your
ever to be
moments.
lazy.
Now you claim them
Entertainment
back.
is endless.
Every breath is a
Distractions
beginning.
are everywhere.
Every action a
company on the
declaration.
planet is
You
fighting
are
for
free.
your attention
You no longer
and winning.
search for peace
So if
externally.
you've been feeling
You
guilty
carry it
for
with you.
not stop
People
being
can change.
lazy.
Plans
the
can
Energy
break.
and Action Plan.
Life can shift in
Written
ways
and
you never
published
saw
by
coming.
Imperium Audiobooks.
But you remain steady.
You already
Not
know
because
what it
life
feels
is
like
easier,
to live below
but
your
because
potential.
you're stronger.
You wake
You've
up
built
every
an
day
inner
with good
foundation that
intentions,
does not crumble
maybe
at the
even a
slightest
to-do list,
uncertainty.
maybe even
You've
big
built a
dreams,
voice inside
and
that
then
guides
watch
instead of
hours slip
scares.
away as you
You've built
procrastinate,
patience,
distract
clarity,
yourself,
resilience,
and tell
brick
yourself,
by brick,
I'll
thought by
start
thought.
tomorrow.
You live
and
now,
when tomorrow
really live.
comes, the cycle
Because your
repeats.
mind is finally
The
a place
truth
you
is,
can inhabit
you don't
without
lack
fear.
ambition.
You became
don't
what
lack
so many never
intelligence.
do.
You
A
don't
thinker
even
who
lack
is not
discipline as
consumed by
much as you
thought.
think.
And now,
What you lack
the
is
final
a system,
turning point.
a way to
You
create
stand at
energy
the edge
and
of a new
momentum
chapter,
that carries
a
you
life
forward
beyond
even
mental
on the
loops,
days you don't
a
feel
life
like
where
it.
thinking is a
This
tool,
book
not
is
a
that
trap.
system.
A life
We
where
live
you
in a
make
world where
decisions,
it's
take
easier
risks,
than ever
feel
to be
deeply,
lazy.
without drowning in
Entertainment is
analysis.
endless.
You have
Distractions
everything
are
you need
everywhere.
within you now.
Every company
Presence,
on the planet
peace,
is fighting for your
self-trust,
attention
awareness, strength.
and winning.
This is
So
your
if you've been
transformation.
feeling guilty for
Not
not
loud,
stop being
not
lazy.
dramatic, but
The
real.
Energy and Action
You once
Plan.
lived inside your
Written
mind.
and published by
Now your mind
Imperium
lives inside
Audiobooks.
you,
You
guided
already
by your
know
will,
what it
your
feels
values,
like
your
to live
clarity.
below your potential.
You are not just less
You wake
anxious.
up every day
You
with
are more
good
alive.
intentions,
Final
maybe
CTA,
even a to-do
the step
list,
forward.
maybe even
If this
big
book
dreams,
shifted something
and
in
then
you,
watch
even
hours
one
slip
thought,
away as you
one habit,
procrastinate,
one moment of
distract
silence where
yourself
fear used to
and
be,
tell yourself,
then take
I'll
this with you.
start tomorrow.
Don't let
and
the
when tomorrow
transformation
comes,
stay
the
inside
cycle
these
repeats.
pages.
The truth
Live it.
is, you
Start
don't
now.
lack ambition.
Not tomorrow.
You don't lack
Not when
intelligence.
things feel perfect.
You don't even lack
No.
discipline
Take
as
one
much as you
decision
think.
without replaying
What you
it.
lack is a
Take
system,
one
a
action
way
without
to create
overthinking
energy
it.
and momentum
Take one
that
step
carries
toward
you
the life you
forward
want,
even on the
even
days
if
you
your
don't
voice
feel
shakes.
like it.
You have
This
trained
book
your
is
mind.
that system.
You have reclaimed
We
your
live in a
peace.
world where it's
You have
easier
risen
than
from the
ever to be
noise.
lazy.
Now use the power
Entertainment
you
is
built.
endless.
Walk into your
Distractions are
life with a
everywhere.
steady heartbeat.
Every company on
Move
the planet
boldly
is fighting
even when
for your
uncertainty
attention
stands
and
beside
winning.
you.
So
Carry
if
your
you've been
clarity
feeling
like a
guilty for
compass
not
and your calm
stop
like
being
armor.
lazy.
Because the only
The
thing
Energy
left
and
to do
Action
is this.
Plan.
Live
Written
the
and
life your
published
mind
by
once told you
Imperium
to fear.
Audiobooks.
You're ready.
You already know
This is
what
your
it feels
beginning.
like to live below your